The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 105. Go to hell. Leave aside Leo Fengi and others who are struggling. Let's talk about Ahu. Ahu was led away by the old gray family of the shaman dragon cult. The two of them arrived in a forest, in the midst of a not-so-small cemetery. Are you from the Red Tail clan? Speaking of Ahu's cultivation, it's really not high. Although he has learned some methods from Black Fox and Leo Fengi, he is far inferior to this old demon. Kid still have a bit of insight, and Ahu observed that this old demon is not a practitioner of the Central Plains Gray family, but a type of grassland evil mouse called the Red Tail, infamous among the Gray Immortals as the most disgraceful tribe. However, it's too late. While attacking, the Red Tail old demon admitted his identity, and his red tail forced Ahu to retreat continuously, facing imminent danger. At this moment, the Red Tail, like a fierce sword, attacked again. In the open space, Ahu had nowhere to hide. Just when Ahu was anxious, he accidentally stepped on a sacrificial stone platform under his feet. It could be considered a means of resistance. Ahu stomped on it with force, and the stone platform suddenly flipped up, blocking in front of him. But at the same time, Ahu also found that the red tail seemed as if it hadn't seen it, and it shot straight toward the stone platform. Before Ahu could figure it out, he heard a cracking sound. The red tail actually pierced through the half-foot-thick stone slab directly. Because the speed was too fast, Ahu couldn't avoid it, and he got hit. In an instant, a stone platform as tall as a person was shattered. Ahu sighed in his heart that this red tail's attack power was too strong. Before Ahu could stabilize his body, the red tail old demon launched a new attack. Facing the extremely powerful consecutive attacks of the red tail, Ahu had no means of defense and could only retreat repeatedly, evading in panic. But the strength gap was indeed quite large, and in the chaos, Ahu was even more passive. Before long, he was forced into a desperate situation, sitting on the ground. Kid, you're done today. In fact, everyone had figured out this old ghost's tactics a few times he appeared. He is the kind of character who bullies the weak and fears the strong, very cunning. This time, he stepped forward step by step, because he found that Ahu was relatively weak and easy to bully. Seeing that Ahu had nowhere to escape, the red tail old demon smirked and made a lethal move. At this point, Ahu was already desperate, knowing that his death was inevitable. However, an unexpected turn of events occurred. Just as the red tail old demon was about to end Ahu's life, he suddenly felt a wave of killing intent coming from above. Turning his head, he saw a huge stepped golden eagle swooping down towards him. As the golden eagle dove down, its two steel-like claws instantly grabbed the old demon's shoulders. "Help me!" With a flap of its wings, the golden eagle lifted the old demon into the air. Let go of me." The consecutive changes frightened the old demon, whose face turned pale. Gone was the earlier maliciousness, replaced by a pleading tone. "I'm not kidding. Help." To his surprise, his plea seemed to resonate with the golden eagle, which actually released its grip. "I'm going to fall to my death, however." Falling from several dozen meters high left the old demon battered. Groaning on the ground, he struggled to get up. "You stupid bird, see if I don't tell the cult leader. Where's that kid?" The old demon recognized the golden eagle and planned to complain. But at that moment, he noticed that the small gray figure was nowhere to be seen. "I'm right here." At that moment, Ahu's voice rang out behind him. When he turned around, he found that Ahu had somehow moved behind him, still holding his red tail. With a tail this long, it's perfect for flying a kite. Although the red tail was a formidable weapon for the old demon, it was also his vulnerability. Being caught by someone was definitely not a good situation. "Let go of me." Just as the old demon thought it was bad, a Huo exerted force, causing the old demon to lose balance. "It's my turn to show some strength." A Hu finally found his momentum. After enduring a night of being on the defensive, he vented all the pent-up frustration. Using all his strength, he threw the old demon like tossing a sandbag, vigorously hurling him towards a large rock. With a loud bang, the old demon's body crashed heavily onto the rock, and a mouthful of blood sprayed out instantly. Then the old demon's body slid down weakly, completely lifeless. "Want to kill me? Train for another 500 years. Having defeated such a highly cultivated demon, the Hu couldn't help but feel proud. However, a cry from the golden eagle above instantly brought him back to reality. It was a reminder that it was not a Hu who had defeated the old demon. "Hey, are you okay?" Turning around, he saw a 15 or 16-year-old boy smiling and greeting him. "You've worked hard too. I didn't need your help to defeat him." Really, a Hu wanted to thank the boy for his assistance, but as the words approached his lips, they took on a different tone. After all, both were young, and who would willingly admit defeat? "Do you want to have another match with him?" But the boy's words and a glance from the golden eagle immediately deflated a Hu's enthusiasm. After all, the golden eagle was also his natural enemy. "Just kidding. We're on the same side. Let's go. Let's go fight. I'll reward you." Fortunately, the boy was just joking. He scolded the golden eagle and led a Hu towards the battlefield by the lake. A few minutes later, just as the three mastiffs were showing off their might, a cry from an eagle and a figure descended from the sky. The newcomer was a Huo, coordinating with the golden eagle, descending from the air and launching an attack on the three mastiffs. A fist slammed heavily on the head in the middle of the three mastiffs, hitting a vital point. With a cracking sound, the middle head shattered. This dramatic entrance made a Hu feel a bit triumphant. Turning to look at the Liudong three bullies, he saw that they couldn't get up. It's not that they were powerless to fight back, but these three guys didn't want to get up. Every time they stood up, they would be knocked down again. Seeing reinforcements, the three immediately forced themselves to climb up from the ground, expressing the spirit of getting more tenacious as they faced setbacks. "You damn wild dogs, don't think we, brothers, are afraid of you." As they faced the three mastiffs once again without backing down, a Hu was genuinely moved. "I'll come back and stew dog meat," but just as a bit of emotion arose, it quickly dissipated in his heart. But escaping was not so easy. A surprising scene unfolded. The three mastiffs, for some unknown reason, mutated and split into two vicious dogs. Discarding the middle dog corpse, the other two vicious dogs separated and independently attacked. One blocked the Liudong three bullies, while the other stood in front of a Hu. Even without three heads, these nearly 2-meter-tall giant mastiffs were formidable. Setting aside a Huo and the Liudong three bullies for now, let's focus on the battlefield where Liu Fengyi and the Wolf King were. At this moment, the two engaged in a fierce battle, with each unleashing their true energy and demonic energy, making it difficult to determine the outcome. The Wolf King's combat power was growing stronger, and if it weren't for Liu Fengyi mobilizing the full power of his protective energy, he would have been torn to pieces by now. The human and the demon had been deadlocked for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. Both were at their limits. Liu Fengyi's protective energy was slightly stronger, and with all his might, he managed to force them apart. Liu Fengyi quickly retreated, stabilizing his figure after retreating more than 10 meters. However, in terms of physical strength, he was no match for the Wolf King. The Wolf King only took 3 or 4 steps back and prepared to pounce again. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 106. Continuing from the previous episode, Liao Fengyi engaged in a fierce battle with the Wolf King, and after more than half an hour of intense fighting, neither side could claim victory. Liao Fengyi unleashed all of his energy to protect his body, launching frequent attacks with sharp moves. However, the Wolf King, relying on its terrifying and otherworldly physique, became increasingly courageous in the fight. Its fur grew longer, and it became more ferocious. After exchanging a few moves and taking several steps back, without a moment's rest, they charged at each other again. But just as the ferocious Wolf King pounced on Liao Fengyi, suddenly, a dark object, accompanied by the sound of wind, flew in from the side. A watermelon-sized stone fiercely hit the Wolf King's nasal bone, instantly disorienting him. "Who goes there? Show yourself." This minor injury did not really harm him, but it provoked him into a frenzied howl. Just as Liao Fengyi was wondering, a black shadow flashed above his head. Turning his head to look, he saw a completely black leopard leaping over him. The black leopard was larger than the Wolf King's actual form, standing between Liao Fengyi and the Wolf King. "He's mine, kid. Who are you?" While Liao Fengyi was wondering about the sudden appearance of such a fierce beast, a young voice sounded beside him. It seemed that this black leopard was the spiritual pet of this young man. "I'm Luo Sheng. I am the adopted son of Master Wu Hui. Can a kid like you handle this?" This self-proclaimed Luo Sheng looked to be around 15 or 16. Liao Fengyi couldn't believe that he had much capability. "Young master, are you planning to betray the divine sect?" However, the youth showed no fear. With a steel knife in hand, he confronted the Wolf King directly. "I've been patient for a long time. Since I've become a traitor, don't blame me for being ruthless." Liao Fengyi couldn't understand their conversation after listening for a while. Could this child be the shaman's son that Shou Dai mentioned earlier? Then why is he standing on my side? "Want to teach me a lesson? With your skill, you're not qualified." The boy didn't say much. Leading the black leopard, he charged forward. "Leave your life behind." Truly fearless, facing the ferocious Wolf King, Luo Sheng showed no sign of fear as he brandished his steel knife and charged forward. The techniques of these kids, their consecutive attacks are ruthless. Although they haven't caused significant harm to the robust Wolf King, they have intensified the fierce red glow in the Wolf King's eyes. "It's useless against me." The continuous rapid attacks temporarily suppressed the arrogant demeanor of the Wolf King. "Is that so? I haven't unleashed my ultimate move yet." However, this suppression was only temporary. As the attacks gradually slowed down, the Wolf King launched a counterattack. Suddenly, he threw a punch in the air, forcing Luo Sheng to retreat repeatedly. "If you have an ultimate move, use it now and let me see." The young man was clearly in a precarious situation, several times on the brink of danger, but he still did not use the ultimate move he had been chanting about. "The ultimate move is here." It wasn't until much later that Liao Fengyi learned that the black leopard accompanying Luo Sheng was called Ultimate Move. Only a child could give such a name to a spiritual pet, not to mention that the black leopard was fierce. It effectively helped Luo Sheng out of the predicament. "Bastard, I'll devour you." The consecutive setbacks made the Wolf King furious, retaliating fiercely, unaware that, in addition to the ultimate move, Luo Sheng also had another celestial being called the secret weapon. With the leopard and the eagle working together, one in the sky and one on the ground, the attacks from one side were complemented by sneak attacks from the other, causing the Wolf King to be in disarray. Liao Fengyi, who had just been sweating nervously, finally felt relieved. It seemed that this child wouldn't be at a disadvantage. He then turned to help Black Fox and Chiodi. As Liao Fengyi turned around, he saw that Black Fox and the White Fox demon had both revealed their true forms, engaging in an exceptionally intense battle. It could truly be described as an unprecedented epic clash. However, Black Fox only had 6 tails, one less than the White Fox demon in terms of cultivation and abilities, making this battle exceptionally brutal. Still trying to be strong, in the collision of the 6 tails, the extra tail of the White Fox demon always managed to cleverly strike Black Fox's body. Black Fox seemed to have been beaten to the point of having no defense. This time, he was knocked down and struggled for a long time without getting up again. One tail represents 100 years of cultivation. This is the difference. Moreover, you're just a self-overestimating low-level scum. Watching the battered Black Fox on the ground, the White Fox demon became even more arrogant, calling him a low-level junior with disdain in her tone. However, rest assured, he slowly walked to Black Fox, lifting his foot and contemptuously stepping on Black Fox's head. You won't die in vain. You'll serve a little purpose. Your core can help me advance to the 8 tails. It turns out he wanted Black Fox's core. It's worth noting that the core of a 6-tailed fox is an absolute treasure among fox spirits. At this moment, the 7-tailed White Fox demon's hand emitted a white light, aiming to take Black Fox's life. But at this moment, the White Fox demon's expression suddenly changed. She realized that Black Fox, who should have been waiting for death beneath her feet, actually smirked, revealing a sly smile. Before the White Fox demon could figure it out, she suddenly felt a pain in her back, a Black Fox tail piercing directly through her chest. Old thing, enjoyed yourself, didn't you? Then, the seemingly powerless Black Fox suddenly leaped up, his fist fiercely striking the White Fox demon's head. 7 tails impressive. Huh. At this moment, the White Fox demon instantly understood. The Black Fox in front of her had been pretending to be weaker than he was. He had also reached the level of 7 tails, but intentionally concealed his strength, hoping to catch his opponent off guard. I have it too, his guess was correct. From the moment the White Fox demon appeared, Black Fox knew he wasn't her match. So, he intentionally hid his true strength, appearing weaker to take his opponent by surprise. During the battle, the arrogant White Fox demon gradually became less vigilant, thinking that she was dealing with just a young upstart with a valuable sword. The sudden burst of power at this moment proved effective. Since it was about seizing the advantage, Black Fox wouldn't give her another chance. He relentlessly attacked, forcing the White Fox demon into a panicked retreat. This was part of Black Fox's strategy. Because the Spirit Fox sword had been placed in the right position, one move to kill the enemy. Seizing the opportunity, Black Fox delivered a palm strike. The White Fox demon tilted backward, precisely impaled through the heart by the Spirit Fox sword. This is not possible, even though it was just cultivated. We're both at the level of 7 tails. Until her death, the White Fox demon couldn't understand. Both Black Fox and she originated from the 9 Immortals Peak. She, being the high-aptitude White Fox, considered Black Fox nothing more than a scrawny fox considered ominous since childhood. How could she lose? Your death is not unjust. The White Fox demon couldn't comprehend. She received offerings and later took a dark path, while Black Fox had walked through life bathed in blood. You lose because you fought too little, and you underestimate your opponents too much. He fought almost every day, and Black Fox had lost count of how many stronger opponents he had faced. Thus, he believed in the principle that battle relies on momentum and experience. At this point, the White Fox demon's soul had scattered, and Black Fox took the opportunity to act. Core, give it to me. The White Fox demon was single-mindedly seeking Black Fox's core, not expecting that after her death, someone would take her core. Put aside Black Fox for now, and let's talk about the situation with Coyote. and the red fox demon on the other side. Originally, Shioti was forced into a retreat, being extremely passive. Elder sister, can you please be serious? However, because of the death of the white fox demon on the other side, the red fox demon suddenly became flustered, losing her rhythm, unknowingly becoming distracted. Shioti seized the opportunity and launched a counterattack. The sharp whip moved like a spirit snake, flipping up and down, densely attacking the red fox demon. Whether due to mental confusion or physical fatigue, facing Shioti's fierce attacks, her combat power unexpectedly weakened. This time, she was whipped across the face by Shioti's whip, leaving a bloody gash. "Damn it! How dare you injure my face?" Blood gushed out, and the red fox demon instantly went mad. "I am going to kill you." The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 107. The arrogant white fox demon was finally defeated by the black fox, and his core was taken. "Daring to harm my face, I'll kill you." The red fox demon, disturbed by the death of the white fox, was also struck on the cheek by Shioti's whip. This drove her completely insane. No one expected that the injury to her face would excite her more than her husband's death. "Do you really think you're invincible?" Shioti had been passively enduring the beating for a while, but after successfully counterattacking, her fighting spirit was finally ignited. "Take this." With a swing of her divine whip, she once again attacked the red fox demon. "You're seeking death," but by now, the red fox demon was already burning with rage, showing a fierce and ferocious expression. She was not afraid of such attacks. "I will tear you into 1,000 pieces." After repeatedly deflecting the whip, she continued moving towards Shioti's position. Suddenly, Shioti's whip attack slowed down a bit. Seizing the opportunity, the red fox demon quickly grabbed the whip's end. Then, with a swift motion, she wound the whip around her arms. The speed was so astonishing that it left people in awe. Moreover, the strength was formidable. Shioti was no match for her. The whip in her hand instantly slipped away. "You little brat, die!" The red fox demon threw the pulled whip behind her, then, with a swift step, quickly attacked Shioti. A palm came at her fast and fiercely. Shioti, without her weapon, had no chance to evade, and was hit head-on. The red fox demon, driven mad, exerted all her strength. This palm sent Shioti flying more than 10 meters away, heavily crashing to the ground. Of course, she had no intention of giving Shioti a chance to catch her breath. Before Shioti could get up from the ground, she attacked again. "Your little face is mine now." The red fox demon was extremely excited, shouting about cutting off Shioti's face and sticking it on her own. In her ecstatic madness, she exposed her fatal flaw. Just as the red fox demon reached Shioti, she suddenly felt a sharp pain behind her, a powerful palm striking her back. "Seems like you forgot about me." When she turned around, the four-tailed fox that had been attached to Shioti at some point was now behind her. Before the red fox demon could comprehend, her body flew out weakly, crashing heavily to the ground. After crashing to the ground, she realized that humans and celestial beings could fight together as one entity or separately at any time. How is it possible? It's infuriating that she didn't notice the girl had disappeared from her body, leading to her disadvantage. "Old hag, I really lost. Can she, a four-tailed fox, deceive her eyes?" But the fact before her eyes was undeniable. Where did she make a mistake? "Why should I tell you the reason?" Yes, when the white fox demon died just now, her distraction, she must have taken the opportunity to leave her body while she was emotionally unstable, and then she was ignited by anger, neglecting this point. The most forbidden thing in battle is distraction, no room for the slightest error. She actually made such a mistake, and now she can only watch the four-tailed fox unleash a powerful attack without time to resist. A powerful force instantly blasted onto her. Actually, being in a passive state after merging was a plan agreed upon by Houdini and Xiaodi. Houdini had not used all her magic power, waiting for the right moment to launch an unexpected fatal attack. Think about those children you devoured. You deserve this. Should have died long ago. Houdini is right. It's time for these red and white fox demons, who killed countless children for their cultivation, to face divine retribution. Houdini approached her and with one palm struck her spiritual bone. Nothing seemed outwardly different, but in an instant, she shattered her soul. In an instant, the demonic energy scattered, and the red fox demon weakly lowered her head. Xiaodi, how are you? After taking the red fox demon's core, Houdini turned to Xiaodi. Due to their connection, she knew Xiaodi's injuries were not severe, so she wasn't overly worried. However, when she turned around, she almost exclaimed, "Xiaodi, don't worry, I'm not hurt badly." Seeing Xiaodi still lying on the ground without getting up, she realized the person she should be concerned about had arrived. "Be careful, I'll help you up. Rest well. We've got your back." "Why aren't you helping him?" Several people who had finished their fight gathered, and not far away, the handsome youth was engaged in a battle with the Wolf King. "Don't worry, that kid is stronger than we thought. Black Fox has rich combat experience." He could tell the youth, despite his boldness, had good strength. He surely didn't want others interfering. It's better for everyone to stand aside and watch. Black Fox is right. Despite the injuries on this youth, he appears lively, even more excited. Looking at the Wolf King, there was no improvement. His body had numerous bloody wounds, emitting white smoke, and the scars stimulated him to howl and pounce again. The Wolf King's attack was not to be underestimated. Two sharp claws were as keen as steel knives, glinting with cold light, reaching out to the youth. However, Luo Sheng showed no fear. With a raised steel knife in hand, he directly blocked the Wolf King's attack. Then, with a forceful movement of his arms, he fiercely threw the Wolf King away. This further provoked the Wolf King's fury. He rebounded quickly and rushed forward. However, at this moment, a dark shadow descended from above, striking his forehead. Before the Wolf King could counterattack, the Black Panther also pounced, using one formidable move and a secret weapon. In this battle, the Wolf King truly suffered. "I've played with you enough. Watch this." With these two capable assistants, Luo Sheng was frequently successful. Now, seeing the Wolf King being attacked from above and below, he also rushed in with his steel knife. Die. Black Fox was right. This youth had concealed his strength before. The steel knife in his hand wasn't ordinary. It had been used as a common weapon until now. At this moment, using some method unknown to others, he had imbued the steel knife with spirit. A flash of golden light, and the steel knife instantly became chilling, sending shivers down everyone's spine. The Wolf King wasn't stupid. He sensed the danger of a divine weapon, but at this moment, it was too late to evade. The precious knife swiftly chopped down, splitting open the Wolf King's skull. It cleaved right into the Wolf King's brain. Observant individuals could notice that this youth clearly knew the Wolf King's weak point. The tip of the knife picked out a red lump from the Wolf King's head, instantly crushing it. Then, the once iron-hard Wolf King's body instantly became like paper, cleaved into two halves. Keep in mind, this Wolf King was the right-hand man of the divine dragon Shimen, comparable to the White Fox demon in strength. The fact that this youth defeated such a formidable opponent left him extremely satisfied. "Well done, kid. He's really strong." Even those like Liao Fengyi watching from the sidelines couldn't help but cheer for him. "I'll take care of the enemies behind." Despite his considerable skills, This youth still had the temperament of a child. The praise made him even more proud. Just then, a loud noise suddenly sounded. Everyone turned to look, and it was Ahu in a battle with the giant mastiff. Ahu rushed forward, sending the mastiff flying, however. Such an attack clearly didn't harm the fierce beast. But as the mastiff landed, it realized its opponent had more tricks up his sleeve. Now, Ahu, holding a large rock, leaped into the air and viciously smashed it onto the mastiff's head. This rock hit its mark precisely. As the saying goes, the front of the head is as hard as iron, but the back is soft as mud, and that's exactly the weak point of the mastiff. Ahu's rock hit the back of its head, and the mastiff howled in agony before collapsing. Meanwhile, 3 shadowy figures seized the opportunity to swiftly approach. These 3 individuals took advantage, but the mastiff got its chance too and howled, lunging towards Ahu. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 108. In the previous episode, we were talking about Ahu, who had just defeated an independently emerged demonic mastiff. Unexpectedly, another one swiftly pounced on him. To be honest, Ahu is not skilled in combat, and even the previous fights have left him exhausted. Now, facing the fierce mastiff, he's at a disadvantage. Thanks, Sister Xiodi. Just when Ahu was anxious, a whip swept him away. Ahu, you've worked hard. I'll take over from here. Seeing that Ahu is okay, Liao Fengyi's heart was relieved. Looking at the fierce mastiff, he clenched his fists and went to confront it. Don't be so violent. Let me handle it. But just as he took a step forward, he was stopped by the black fox. Hey brother, I see the other 2 are also injured. After tossing out a sentence, regardless of whether Liao Fengyi agreed or not, carrying the spirit fox sword, he walked towards the fierce mastiff. Why don't you combine first and recover your energy? The mastiff also knew that a tough opponent had arrived. Just as it was about to launch a fierce attack, it was stunned by the black fox's words. Don't think that this way will go around you, but this is a good thing. Demonic mastiffs can fight separately, but only one biomo can quickly restore the vitality of each body after combining, reaching their peak state again. At this moment, in desperate need of recovery, the mastiff didn't care about what the opponent was thinking. The 3 mastiffs quickly gathered together. This demonic mastiff is indeed strange. When they gathered together, their bodies unexpectedly entwined like slime. Not bad, quite imposing. Watching the 3 mastiffs recover some energy, the black fox did not rush to take action. Instead, with hands behind his back, he praised them with admiration. Enough talk. Show your moves. The successfully combined mastiff didn't understand what tricks the opponent was playing, so it directly initiated an attack. All right, don't blame me for this. When Black Fox heard the 3 mastiffs calling for a challenge, his expression became serious. Then he revealed the weapon in his hands. But what exactly is going on? Go. The silence envelops a space. Bastard, what do you take us for? Misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. Brothers, take him down. How about becoming my underlings? I promise you bones to eat every day. Listen to me. Dream on. We mastiffs are the most loyal. Our master is dead, and we will not live in disgrace. Facing Black Fox's recruitment, these 3 mastiffs are not buying it. After all, they are renowned for their loyalty on the grasslands. Our master was killed by you. We will seek revenge moreover. Our master was killed. Isn't avenging a loyal dog an inevitable scene to play out? Truly touching. I have decided to respect you. At this moment, the only thing to give these loyal dogs is a decent battle, honoring their brave reputation. He's going to use force to subdue them. Black Fox, don't underestimate them. After combining, they are formidable, but those behind him know Black Fox well. He's not one to yield easily. If he can't convince them, he'll make them yield through force. In this world, there's nothing I want to subdue that I can't. Just then, a glow appeared on Black Fox's hands, and a heavy aura of killing intent was released. It was the signal for a powerful move. Let me introduce 3 beautiful young female dogs to you. Are you interested? Next to the 9 Immortals Peak is the Wild Dog Slope, where you can find all the beautiful girls. Faced with such a big move, the 3 mastiffs immediately surrendered. Great Black Fox, listen to the sound of your subordinate calling you. Yes, boss, Sansha, we leave it to you. Black Fox indeed has the ability to subdue underlings. Along the way, his team has been growing stronger. Just as everyone relaxed a bit, suddenly a powerful aura emanated from behind, and everyone turned to look. The location constantly emitting a powerful aura is the Divine Dragon Hall on the 3-pole peak. Cold sweat, a powerful sense of oppression struck, causing beads of sweat on everyone's back. Those with good eyesight have already seen that, at this moment, on the main peak of the 3-pole peak, there stands a man in a long-bearded black robe. Although I, as a junior disciple, have mediocre talent, I have some capable individuals around me. This person is none other than the leader of the Divine Dragon Shaman, Du Xianjun, but wanting to deal with me with this motley group. Master, you're thinking too simplistically. And behind him is Liao Fengyi's master, Lai Bai. So what if your talent is mediocre? Even if you have high innate talent, you can still fall into the path of darkness. Listening to their conversation, it turns out that Du Xianjun was also a disciple of Lai Bai. In terms of seniority, he is Liao Fengyi's senior brother. You will surely be defeated by mediocre talent. Karma is unsatisfying. The hands of a mediocre junior disciple, but this senior brother not only went astray into the dark path, founded a cult, but also cruelly imprisoned his own master using extremely brutal methods. Although imprisoned, Lai Bai is full of confidence in Liao Fengyi. He believes that even with the protection of the Divine Dragon, profound cultivation, Du Xianjun is still not a match for Liao Fengyi. Well, I'm afraid there's no chance for that. Just as Du Xianjun's words fell, a strange scene occurred. His shadow on the ground slowly stood up, like a living creature. Not only that, with a flick of Du Xianjun's finger, the shadow, like a bird spreading its wings, circled in the air for a few rounds before diving down. What is that? When everyone noticed a black shadow diving down, it had already become enormous, spanning dozens of meters wide, like a pitch-black cloud. Immediately, that mass of black clouds pressed down on the heads of everyone. In an instant, a violent wind swept through, raising countless flying sand and dust, making it impossible for anyone to open their eyes. Everyone, don't panic. What's happening? Stay in place and don't move. And the surroundings suddenly turned pitch black, hand in front of the face unseen. No one knew what had happened. What happened? Fortunately, the entire process lasted only a few seconds before returning to normal. The sandstorm and black clouds disappeared completely. Fengyi, what's wrong with you? Just when everyone couldn't grasp the situation, Ahu turned around and found that Liao Fengyi had actually fallen to the ground. What's going on? Not just him. Qiudi and the child named Luxing are all lying on the ground unconscious. No matter how everyone pushes and shouts, they show no response. Can't figure it out. What happened to them? What happened to the 3 of them? How were they attacked? Black Fox and the others have no clue and didn't see anyone attacking. Watching the 3 inexplicably unconscious, the remaining few people are all on high alert. If another wave comes, it's still hard to defend against. Black Fox, be careful. But at this moment, Ahuo, who is on high alert, noticed a strange phenomenon. There is a strange shadow standing behind Black Fox, and it is about to attack Black Fox. Ahuo's warning is too late. Black Fox also didn't expect someone to silently ambush behind him, and he didn't notice the danger approaching. Received an inexplicable bump on the shoulder, but when he turned around, he found nothing behind him, not a trace of a person. Shadow, your shadow. But Ahuo soon noticed something wrong. Black Fox is busy looking at his own shadow on the ground. Sure enough, that shadow unexpectedly had an extra pair of eyes, and it was smiling at him. Black Fox's mind is a bit confused. Just when he was astonished, that shadow stood up from the ground like a piece of paper. Where did this evil spirit come from? I'm just your shadow. At this point, Black Fox finally reacted. He immediately swung his sword towards the shadow, and at the same time, a sharp voice sounded behind him. These tricks are useless against me. Everyone turned to look. A black figure floated in midair like smoke, resembling a ghost. And all of you will die. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 109. I am just your shadow. Earlier, as we were talking, just when Black Fox and others were facing the anxious situation of Liu Fengyi, Xiaodi, and Lu Xing inexplicably falling into a coma, another mysterious shadow appeared and took the opportunity to launch a sneak attack. Your attacks against me are useless. This caught everyone off guard even more. No one had encountered such a strange situation before. I'll deal with this thing. No need. You wait for that demon dragon. Although understanding that this is a trick created by the enemy, facing a shadow, it's really unclear how to attack. Okay, Ahuo, keep an eye on Fengyi and the others. Black Fox didn't let the nine-headed Joe go forward. After all, that demon dragon could appear at any time, and the nine-headed Joe couldn't afford to be distracted now. Moreover, there are 3 people currently unconscious and needing care. And you, it's best to be someone worth my effort. After explaining a few words, Black Fox, holding the spirit fox sword, confronted the shadow. He really a foolish fox. The shadow, relying on its mysteriously unpredictable attacks, didn't pay any attention to Black Fox at all. With a flick of its right hand, it also formed the shape of a treasure sword. Is that so? Then let's see how it goes. To be honest, so far, Black Fox really couldn't figure out the tactics of this thing. But with no other options in front of him, he had to try a few attacks. Get out of here, however, Black Fox found that no matter what move he used, as long as the sword went down, the shadow immediately disappeared without a trace. What kind of thing is hiding and sneaking around? Not only Black Fox, but the speed of the shadow was so fast that everyone couldn't see clearly. In the blink of an eye, it was gone. Black Fox, you? Ahuo was carefully looking for the shadow, but when he looked up, he found that the spirit fox sword in Black Fox's hand was stabbing towards him. The sudden turn of events frightened Ahuo, and he was sweating profusely. He couldn't react in time, but fortunately, the spirit fox sword flew past his ear and didn't hurt him. Then he heard a muffled sound behind him. It turned out that the shadow was standing behind him at this moment. Ahuo wanted to turn around and see the situation, but the momentum of the spirit fox sword just now was too fierce, and his legs were really weak. Don't worry, I have control over it. I won't hurt you. Just as Ahuo was about to complain, a shadow flashed behind Black Fox, and that thing launched another sneak attack. At this moment, the spirit fox sword had just been summoned back into Black Fox's hand, not yet swung again, a sharp pain on the shoulder, and another cut opened up. Enduring the pain, Black Fox retaliated with a sword. At this speed, It should be fast enough. Watch out above, but there was no trace of that thing behind, making Black Fox frustrated. Fortunately, Ahuo's high alertness, with his reminder by the side, improved Black Fox's reaction. With a raise of his hand, he managed to block the shadow's sneak attack. Everyone, watch your own shadows. It seemed unlikely that this shadow appear out of nowhere. It mainly moved rapidly between everyone's shadows. So, Black Fox shouted, waking everyone up. While Ahuo was concentrating on observing the shadows of everyone on the ground, he suddenly noticed a small black dot passing by. Looking up, he saw the golden eagle brought by Lushing. So, he had a thought. This shadow was likely a spell cast by someone. The person behind it might be hiding somewhere in the woods, so he quickly waved and summoned the golden eagle. Black Fox didn't know Ahuo's thoughts. He was fully focused on everything around him, occasionally swinging his sword to counter the shadow's attacks. What a formidable fox demon, because of heightened vigilance and an understanding of the rapid movement range of the shadow. After several attempts were thwarted by Black Fox, the shadow finally revealed its form. But it's useless. The shadow circled around everyone at an extremely fast speed, seemingly looking for an opportunity to strike. Black Fox remained cautious, keeping his eyes fixed on the shadow. Tonight, you all will die, however. An unexpected scene unfolded beyond Black Fox's predictions. The shadow could actually appear or disappear out of thin air. Stay vigilant, everyone. Watching the shadow disappear again, Black Fox broke into a cold sweat. This indicated that the thing was entirely unpredictable, and the shadow seemed to use some form of invisibility, making even its breath undetectable. Leaving aside the alarmed group, let's talk about the golden eagle. After receiving Ahu's signal, it spread its wings and circled the forest. With the agile golden eagle in the sky and the nimble black panther on the ground, their coordination seemed to leave no inch of land unchecked. But for now, there were no discoveries. The golden eagle and the black panther were anxiously searching, while everyone was vigilantly watching the surroundings. A sense of tension and panic suddenly filled the air. Let's set this aside for now and talk about the three unconscious individuals. At the moment of fainting, these three people almost simultaneously entered a completely dark world. Starting with Liao Fengyi, he woke up quickly but found himself in complete darkness. The silence around him was deathly, and he immediately realized that he was trapped in someone else's array. After carefully observing the surroundings, he found that he could only see within a radius of less than 10 meters. After walking a few steps and seeing the same environment all around, he stopped. Trying to trap me? No way. He had been taught by his master about this kind of array, just a method to imprison the soul. So Liao Fengyi formed hand seals, attempting to break the array. It's useless. Who's there? But at that moment, a deep voice resounded. The array I set up, you can't break it with the techniques your master taught you. Turning around, it was none other than the shaman chief Du Xianjun, described by Xiaodi. How about we spar now, my fellow disciple? Let me see the skills of my master's closed-door disciple. However, this guy kept calling him a junior fellow disciple. Suddenly, Liao Fengyi remembered that his master had mentioned having another disciple. Bah, I don't have a senior fellow disciple like you. Where's my master? Thinking back to Miss Lu's previous narrative, Liao Fengyi now understood everything. He's indeed in my hands, hand over my master. Hearing Du Xianjun's contemptuous tone, Liao Fengyi clenched his fists in anger. Such deep affection between master and disciple. Come then, kill me, and you'll see him. And this Du Xianjun obviously enjoyed a good fight, every word provoking, arrogantly and wickedly. Then die. Since that's the case, Liao Fengyi didn't waste words. He clenched his fists and attacked Du Xianjun. Did your master teach you these fancy moves? But Du Xianjun was highly skilled. As Liao Fengyi's attack approached, a wall of energy easily blocked it. "This won't do, little junior." Then he also moved, waving his hand, and a sharp force shot out. Liao Fengyi immediately felt like his chest was smashed by a heavy iron hammer. His mouth filled with the sweet taste of blood as he spat out a mouthful. Then his body flew out powerlessly. "If you want to kill me to save your master, show me some real skills." After landing on the ground, Liao Fengyi was shocked. Du Xianjun in front of him was unfathomable, with strength far superior to his. Since martial arts didn't work, Liao Fengyi pinched his fingers and tapped 2 acupuncture points on his shoulder. Suddenly, the qi from his dantian flowed through his limbs. "I'll ask you again, where is my master?" Then, like a carp leaping, he jumped up from the ground. Flames ignited on the palms due to the qi. "Kill me, and you can save your master." But Du Xianjun was not weak either. Qi flames also appeared on his hands. Although they belonged to the same school, his skill was obviously much deeper. Du Xianjun continued to provoke Liao Fengyi with his master's mention, and Liao Fengyi, agitated, struck first with a palm. The two clashed within the array, and Liao Fengyi exerted all his strength, determined to kill Du Xianjun, the one who betrayed and harmed his ancestors. "Come out, I know you're here." On the other side, also trapped in the array, was the young man Luxing. "Could you unlock your memories? That person is unscrupulous. Do you really think I know nothing?" Strangely, in his array, there was also a Du Xianjun at this moment. The blood feud of killing a father is irreconcilable. "I'll kill you." His previous action of helping Liao Fengyi and the others had already exposed the lies. Now Luxing faced his adoptive father with intense hatred, nearly biting through the steel teeth in his mouth. Go to hell. Wielding his precious knife, he used all the skills he had learned throughout his life and attacked Du Xianjun. "I'll avenge my sect." At the same time, Xiaodi found herself in a similar situation. Come and face death. Facing the enemy who had subverted her sect and killed her master, her eyes turned red. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 109. Continuing from the previous episode, let's start the story from the battlefield by the lake. It is said that Black Fox was in a peculiar battle with a mysterious black shadow, and for a while, it was a very passive fight. No advantages gained. It's not that the black shadow is powerful, but it is exceptionally mysterious, constantly changing and unpredictable. It simply baffles the mind, causing Black Fox to suffer quite a bit. As I told you before, it's useless. Another series of slashes, but still no harm done to that black shadow. Instead, Black Fox is getting quite exhausted. "I'm just a shadow. Your attacks are useless." Actually, they are not entirely useless. From the continuous dodges and occasional grunts of pain, Black Fox deduced that this shadow is also afraid of the Spirit Fox sword. Because of the setbacks, the black shadow doesn't give Black Fox a chance to catch his breath. Several black lines are drawn in the air, each attacking Black Fox. Black Fox is fed up with this infuriating style of fighting. With the Spirit Fox sword in hand, he makes a fierce swing, instantly sending rocks flying and a powerful shockwave, forcing the black shadow to disperse once again. "Damn it, can't take it." Frustrating, isn't it? But as the dust settles, the sharp and irritating voice of the black shadow resounds behind Black Fox. "When you just came out, you were so chatty. Damn it. Really annoying, but not anymore." From Black Fox's rapid and fierce attacks, the black shadow realizes that Black Fox is getting impatient, which pleases him greatly. "You're just a chattering shadow. What's so impressive?" Black Fox, with extensive combat experience over the centuries, wouldn't easily be provoked or become impatient. If he were, he wouldn't have survived until today. Seeing Black Fox pointing at him, the spirit fox sword swings, and a flame shoots out, a move he learned from Liu Feng, the fire control technique. Still not learning, I've told you before, however, this small fireball still doesn't touch the black shadow. After being dodged, it shoots straight into the bushes at the edge of the forest. Seeing the small fireball miss, a smirk appears on Black Fox's face. Then, a flash of fire, a crackling sound, and that small fireball ignite a bonfire at the edge of the woods. Then, whoosh, 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 several more fireballs are launched, each heading towards the surroundings. How about it, Shadow? Let's continue playing. Soon, 7 or 8 bonfires lit up around the battlefield, illuminating the area as bright as day. I'll be waiting for you, cunning fox demon. At this point, the Black Shadow finally understands Black Fox's intentions. His specialty lies in swiftly moving and ambushing by hiding in the shadows of various objects. However, with the firelight everywhere, there are no shadows in the middle area, and his strengths cannot be utilized. Do you think I can't kill you like this? But this time, with ample light all around, the movements of the Black Shadow become very apparent, and Black Fox finds it much easier to defend. Childish, but this time, with sufficient light all around, the Black Shadow's movements are very obvious, and Black Fox easily fends off the attack. The keen-eyed can clearly see every move of the opponent, something that Black Fox doesn't usually bother about with ordinary foes. Seeing the Black Shadow attacking, Black Fox swiftly brings down his sword, immediately cutting the shadow into 2 pieces. Well done. Without waiting for the Black Shadow to regroup, Black Fox strikes again with another sword, cutting the shadow once more. Seizing the opportunity, Black Fox rapidly attacks with one sword after another, dismembering the Black Shadow into pieces. The muffled groans reveal that the shadow is not as invulnerable as he claimed. The shadow no longer dares to confront directly, quickly drifting away and reassembling in the air. It seems you're not fearless after all. This time, Black Fox's pent-up frustration is finally released, and he feels much relief. Damn it, the shadow has lost the irritating confidence from before and starts cursing angrily. Then let those 3 guys sleep forever, perhaps realizing the loss of his advantage. He disappears again, apparently preparing for another ambush. You despicable and sneaky bastard. Running away is not a skill. Come out to me. This infuriates Black Fox. This guy can't win in a fight, so he runs away and attacks opportunistically, truly cunning. Frustrated, Black Fox puts aside his anger and turns to the discussion of the carving and the leopard, who are still diligently searching in the woods. Suddenly, the golden eagle's eyes light up as it spots a person sitting cross-legged on a flat stone under a hill. Damn it, the leader's barrier has been set. None of you can escape. It's an elderly man with a protruding forehead. In front of him, a candle as thick as a bull's leg is burning, however. Under the candlelight, the old man surprisingly casts no shadow, indicating that he is the true form of that shadow. The 2 spirit beasts, eager to save their master, rush forward upon making the discovery. Get away, get away. Both the carving and the leopard almost simultaneously pounce on the old man. Despite his skill with shadows, he's no match for the 2 spirit beasts. My child, the ancient shamanism of the Liu family has long been in decline. It's time to give up, putting aside the attack of the carving and the leopard. Let's talk about their master, Liu Sheng. His situation is not looking good right now. Let go of your obsession and create a great enterprise with your father. Facing the godlike Duke Xianjun, Liu Sheng, who grew up watching him since childhood, is no match at all. Let go of your obsession. You're still my good child. He has lost count of how many times he has been knocked to the ground. Shut up. To achieve your dominance, must you exterminate my entire clan. Facing Duke Xianzhen's olive branch, Luo Sheng is furious. He can never forget the bloody scene where all his relatives were killed. Not a single one survived. Tell these reasons of yours to the underworld. What's more hateful is that Duke Xianzhen has sealed his memory, making him mistake an enemy for his father for many years, committing many atrocities for his sworn enemy. Luo Sheng gets up, once again swinging his vengeful sword. Even though he knows he's no match, he still refuses to give up. On the other side, Xiaodi is not faring much better. Although her divine whip binds Duke Xianzhen, a look at both sides reveals a significant power gap. I will avenge my sect. Repeated failures, repeated battles. Xiaodi is exhausted, trembling all over. You and your master are both fools. Is the holy immortal sect so important? If back then, she didn't foolishly give up at the last moment. In contrast, Duke Xianzhen is quite at ease, not paying much attention to the restraint of the divine whip. Now the holy immortal sect will not disappear, and she will be the godmother of my dragon shaman. So you're the man who ruined my master's entire life. Duke Xianzhen's contemptuous words shock Xiaodi, and her anger reaches its peak. How can you blame me? It was her who gave up at the last moment. Returning the secret treasure ruined my plan. So Duke Xianzhen has a complex emotional entanglement with Xiaodi's master. He is the one who caused the misfortune in the lifetime of Xiaodi's master. She stepped down from the position of sect master, delaying the plan I should have realized 10 years ago. From Duke Xianzhen's words, one can probably guess the situation. He was in love with Xiaodi's master, hoping to control the holy immortal sect through her. But what did she gain from betraying me? She got the entire sect's resentment, however. Xiaodi's master saw through his evil nature at the last moment, abandoned the plan, and thwarted Duke Xianzhen's schemes. I find this matter improper, you bastard. Hearing this, Xiaodi couldn't help but recall how her master was always avoided within the sect. This matter is none of your business. All right, despite her master's superior cultivation and status, there were few in the sect who respected him. Instead, there was a strong aversion towards him, as if he had committed some grave mistake. In the future, don't choose ambitious men. Choose someone ordinary to live a simple life. In an instant, scenes from the past where her master sat at the edge of her bed chatting with her emerged. Find a man who can protect you for a lifetime. At that time, she couldn't understand the meaning behind her master's words. Remember, a simple life is the happiest, but she could see the loneliness and regret in her master's eyes. You're not worthy of my master's love. I will avenge my master. Thinking about all the suffering and injustice her master endured in his life caused by the man before her, Xiaodi was burning with rage, fiercely lashing out with her whip. Love, with a man who aspires to conquer the world. How ridiculous! If you can't help me achieve my great ambitions, in the eyes of this man, Xiaodi is nothing. Everything in the world is just a tool for him. Family, love, friendship, they are all just means to an end. What use does she have? The man you love thinks the same way. When this tool is no longer useful, it's time for him to discard it. As he spoke, Duke Xianzhen grabbed the divine whip with one hand, and a key, like a spirit snake, attacked Xiaodi along with the whip. Facing such a fierce attack, can Xiaodi evade it? The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 111. Continuing from the previous episode, Daoist Xianzhen, with one hand, firmly grabbed the whip's handle and launched an attack. Xiaodi couldn't evade it all, and was struck directly. With Daoist Xianzhen's strength, This small strike sent Xiaodi flying 7 or 8 meters away. A large mouthful of blood instantly sprayed out. "Master, what they said, it's true, you're not worth it." But what caused more suffering to Xiaodi wasn't the physical pain, but the heartache and unworthiness for her master. Her master endured a lifetime of pain for a man like this. When you reach the underworld, tell your master she should regret the foolish decisions she made back then. But Daoist Xianjun, recalling the past, felt no regret, even some anger. With a single raised palm, he seemed ready to end Xiaodi's life. If the master regrets, it's regret for not realizing the true nature of this man-faced beast. Yet, a single sentence from Xiaodi caused his actions to momentarily pause. She once said, "In this world, whether one loves or is loved by someone, it is happiness. And this kind of happiness, like yours, this cold-blooded person, is something you'll never experience. It's you who ruined the master's entire life. You should go to the underworld and repent to her." With a swing of the divine whip, Xiaodi attacked Daoist Xianjun fiercely. The raging anger within her sought release. But can she defeat Daoist Xianjun, whose strength is unfathomable, with just her anger? Now let's talk about Liao Fengyi in the other battlefield. His situation is even more dire. The other things Master mentioned, I haven't seen yet, but what Master said about being stupid is quite evident. While Liao Fengyi is undoubtedly exceptional in martial arts and key techniques when dealing with outsiders, he is completely powerless against Daoist Xianjun, who shares the same lineage. Master is right. I am clumsy. Many of the things he says, I don't understand. In the 10 years of self-discipline, Master indeed mentioned being clumsy, unable to learn many techniques, and lacking adaptability. But I know one thing. You, the one who deceives teachers and destroys ancestors, aren't qualified to be my master's disciple. Master once said that he can only focus on laying a solid foundation. Luckily, he is resilient enough, and that's not a problem. You're not qualified to call yourself a master, but facing a senior brother with techniques far superior, are my solid foundational skills still useful? Nor do you have the right to call me junior. Is that so? Facing consecutive blows. Fortunately, Liao Fengyi's resilience persists. Getting up from the ground for who knows which time, he once again persistently attacked Daoist Xianjun. In his entire life, he taught 2 disciples, one of them being you, the fool, but this fist, infused with his entire Kai, was once again effortlessly resolved by Daoist Xianjun. And the other has surpassed the master, can defeat him. Before Liao Fengyi could retract his fist, a powerful surge of true energy from Daoist Xianjun struck. Liao Fengyi was knocked down to the ground once again. You talk about being a master. Which disciple would make him more satisfied? What saddened Liao Fengyi even more was Daoist Xianjun's words. Yes, as a mentor, what kind of disciple would truly satisfy him? Is it someone like himself, foolish and clumsy? Then the master's skills won't be passed down. And what kind of disciple is he? Show some real skills, or else it will only indicate the master has given up on you. Daoist Xianjun's words continued, each one piercing the soul. You're right, the master must be saddened teaching such a clumsy disciple. But if Liao Fengyi is trapped in prolonged self-doubt over this issue, he wouldn't be Liao Fengyi anymore. But you're not the kind that makes him happy. The master should be sad about his own foolishness, but even more saddened about the talented disciple going astray, walking the wrong path. Liao Fengyi leaped again, using all his skills. He took out 2 talismans from his waist, formed a few hand seals, and then launched an attack against Daoist Xianjun. Kid, you used it wrong again. This is a demon sealing talisman, but it still had no effect. Daoist Xianjun formed a few hand seals with one hand and effortlessly neutralized the attacks of the two paper talismans. He even mocked Liao Fengyi. I am a human. These things are useless against me, but all your actions are something only beasts would do. In fact, Liao Fengyi knew that as fellow disciples, his actions were futile. He just wanted to vent. For the first time, Liao Fengyi felt he was quite good at talking. Heavenly spirit, precious radiance, earthly spirit, pure wind. As he spoke, he attached another talisman to the back of his right hand. Following the incantation, a hand seal landed on the back of his hand. A powerful surge of qi fiercely attacked Daoist Xianjun. Finally, a somewhat decent move. This attack indeed had significant power, landing squarely on Daoist Xianjun, creating a momentary explosion of dust and debris. Is the master still teaching you that ancient stuff? As the dust cleared, although this strike pushed Daoist Xianjun back 2 or 3 meters, it still didn't even touch a single hair on him. Talismans are things to be used at will. Is it not tiring to carry so many yellow papers at your waist? Moreover, it seems Daoist Xianjun intentionally showed off. With a simple finger gesture, he drew a talisman in the air imbued with true energy. With a single wave of his hand, numerous talismans shot toward Liao Fengyi. Liao Fengyi had never seen talismans used like this. Even the master used cinnabar and yellow paper to draw them. Could it be? Before Liao Fengyi could understand, these talismans struck him. Each attack was extremely powerful. The force and energy of the last talisman were even greater, instantly sending Liao Fengyi flying. Little Junior, techniques are static. People are dynamic. You need to be flexible. Daoist Xianjun kept suppressing Liao Fengyi's spirit, not only tormenting him with moves, but also constantly mocking him with words. Flexible. I'm too clumsy. I don't understand. But he was wrong. Liao Fengyi was a stubborn person. Once he decided on a path, he would stick to it no matter what. That's how the master taught me. I'll use it well on you. Saying this, he once again got up from the ground, swiftly grabbing 2 talismans in his hands. He knew deep down that such attacks were futile, but even if he could deplete a bit of the opponent's true energy, it was better than sitting idly by. This stubbornness made Liao Fengyi forget about his own exhaustion. Good Junior, but I'm tired of you, you fool. Invisible true energy formed a giant palm that slammed into Liao Fengyi's chest. This was a ruthless blow. A large mouthful of blood immediately sprayed out. Immediately after, everything went black, and Liao Fengyi was brutally smashed to the ground again. Master, it seems you're truly confused. Otherwise, why would you accept such a clumsy disciple? I'm interested precisely in his foolishness. He's foolish, but you're even more foolish. This time, Daoist Xianjun's words were directed at the clothed figure behind him. While the 3 battlefields in the array were lively, Daoist Xianjun remained on the hill, coldly observing everything, indicating his unfathomable depth. You shouldn't have let him battle himself because he's too foolish. Foolish to the point of not even knowing who he is. But when he does know, it will be when you fail. For the battles in the array, Lai Bai doesn't seem worried. Could there still be a turning point in this disparate situation? Having confidence is good, however, I've already had my fill. After hearing Lai Bai's words, Daoist Xianjun fell silent for a while. Then, a cold smile appeared on his lips, and he snapped his fingers. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind arose, and from the woods on the cliff, a demonic dragon flew out. Go, divine dragon. And all of this. This demonic dragon was formidable, appearing to be nearly 100 meters long. It danced around Daoist Xianjun, and then waited silently for the command. With a command from Daoist Xianjun, the demonic dragon let out a thunderous roar, and instantly charged down the cliff fiercely. "Master, we should also end this. Give me your last trace of primordial energy." After releasing the demonic dragon, Taoist Xianjun turned his head and looked at Li Bai. "The treasure and the world will both be mine. With a disciple like me, you can rest peacefully in your old age." It seems Taoist Xianjun's sinister intentions are quite significant. Let's put aside the mountaintop and talk about the open space below. The thunderous roar has already alarmed everyone. It's a dragon. Watching the formidable demonic dragon before them, the three assassins of Liudong were so frightened that they trembled. They were almost kneeling down and kowtowing. "Be careful. It's finally here, damn. I can't wait any longer." But for Black Fox, Ahu, and Zhu Tuzhou, this is the opponent they've been waiting for. Zhu Tuzhou finally got the chance to act. He immediately transformed into his true form and soared into the air, confronting the demonic dragon. A great battle is about to unfold. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 112. In the previous episode, we were discussing how the shamanic leader, Taoist Xianjun, released a demonic dragon, and Zhu Tuzhou immediately went to confront it. I've been waiting impatiently. If we talk about Zhu Tuzhou, he had been holding back for a long time, in order to preserve his strength to deal with the demonic dragon. He hadn't participated in the previous battles. He couldn't hold back any longer. A younger member of the Serpent clan, and the demonic dragon is the sworn enemy of Zhu Tuzhou's clan. Its strength is absolutely terrifying, and it doesn't regard Zhu Tuzhou highly. Having spared a life, yet not cherishing it. As beings at this level, the divine beasts on both sides had long sensed each other's presence, but hadn't confronted each other until now. To annihilate our Central Plains divine clan, you should pay with your life. For Zhu Tuzhou, meeting this enemy was particularly infuriating, and he wished to immediately rush over and defeat the demonic dragon to avenge his people. Sure, I haven't had much appetite lately. Zhu Tuzhou is indeed a delicacy, while the demonic dragon sneered and scorned. Then annoyed, Zhu Tuzhou took the initiative to attack. In an instant, 9 heads moved like lightning, fiercely rushing towards the demonic dragon. The demonic dragon, not to be outdone, opened its large mouth, accompanied by a fierce wind, and met Zhu Tuzhou head-on. The clash between these two mythical creatures was truly spectacular. Both sides aimed to bring the other to their demise, causing the surroundings to be shrouded in darkness. But they were enjoying the fight, while the onlookers below were suffering. Not good run. Both the 9-headed dragon and the demonic dragon were enormous. Now, disregarding everything, they were madly fighting, causing rocks and trees to fly in all directions. As they spoke, the tail of the demonic dragon swept down, instantly creating a large pit in the ground, and rocks and soil flew everywhere. This deep trench was over 10 meters long, and nearby trees were knocked down in a large area. This is bad. These two creatures are too ferocious. This situation is completely out of control. Black Fox wasn't afraid, but there were ordinary people like Sansha here. What should we do? If this continues, they are in great danger. Moreover, Liao Fengyi and the others are still unconscious, completely unable to avoid the danger. It's really precarious. We need to find a safe place for them and settle them down. Black Fox is busy making arrangements, looking for a safe place to protect them. Sansha, carry them on your back and follow us quickly. Yes, boss. Ahu takes the lead, exploring the way, while Black Fox directs Sansha and the 3-headed mastiff to quickly leave the open space, leaving the fighting creatures in the sky. Let's leave behind the people who have left and the two mythical creatures engaged in fierce combat in the sky. Now let's talk about Daoist Xianjun, who intends to harm Master. His eyes glint with fierceness as he ruthlessly slaps down with his palm. At this moment, Lai Bodhi is trapped and unable to evade. Poor Lai Bai, who has diligently taught his disciple for decades, imparting true teachings, now faces death at the hands of his disciple. How tragic. But at this critical moment, someone shouts loudly from midair, and a large Zen staff swings down. Daoist Xianjun has to retract his palm and intercept the Zen staff. I knew you would appear. It's none other than Master Wuhui. However, looking at Daoist Xianjun's expression, it seems he anticipated Master Wuhui's appearance. But do you think it's useful? Spit, you, this scum who deceives masters and destroys ancestors, with one hand holding the Zen staff, the other hand gathers energy and quickly attacks Master Wuhui. Master Wuhui, aware of Daoist Xianjun's strength, doesn't dare to be too presumptuous. He retracts the Zen staff, trying to dodge Daoist Xianjun's attack. However, as soon as his feet touch the ground, his body is sent flying again. Master Wuhui's speed is indeed fast. In the blink of an eye, he floats to Daoist Xianjun's back. With the Zen staff horizontally across both arms, Master Wuhui's palm slaps towards Daoist Xianjun's lower back. But with Daoist Xianjun's skill, how could he not evade? Was it intentional? Indeed, this strike hits Daoist Xianjun's lower back directly, but the one injured is Master Wuhui. Daoist Xianjun's internal energy shakes, directly flipping Master Wuhui away. And he remains unmoved, standing steadily in place, indicating the depth of his internal energy. With the remaining inner strength you have, can you harm me? Speaking of this, it should be mentioned that Master Wuhui suffered extremely severe internal injuries, causing him to lose all his inner strength, while in front of Liao Fengdi and others. It may not be noticeable, but facing Daoist Xianjun, it becomes evident. Isn't it because of you? Thanks to you. From what he implies, the internal injuries he suffered were not caused by inner demons, but by the assassins sent by Daoist Xianjun. We are brothers, but you, disregarding brotherly affection, actually betrayed me. Listening to their conversation, it suddenly becomes clear why the two individuals, despite having different temperaments, look very similar. They are biological brothers. The fate of betrayal is only one. Although they are brothers, Master Wuhui cannot tolerate the actions of his elder brother, who harms living beings for personal desires and ambitions. Therefore, he develops a sense of rebellion. That is death. You've done so many evil deeds, and yet I'm still debating whether to help you or not. However, before he can act on this intention, Daoist Xianjun, who is very suspicious, detects it. He quickly nullifies all of Master Wuhui's skills. I didn't expect you to be so ruthless, directly nullifying my skills. Once you harbor rebellious intentions, how could I leave a threat by my side? The situation of whether the chicken or the egg came first is difficult to judge, but it clearly shows the opposite characteristics of the two individuals. Selfish, cold-hearted, and ruthless are your consistent traits, but everything you do is doomed to fail. At this point, Master Wuhui has completely given up on his elder brother. Fail. This is the second time I've heard it today. Do you think it's possible? I used to think it was impossible, until I met that kid, regarding the judgments of Master Lai Bai and his younger brother Master Wuhui. Daoist Xianjun still sneers at them. You will surely be defeated by him. He just doesn't understand where these people get the confidence to challenge that idiot. Well, too bad, because he's about to die soon. In his view, there's no sign of life in Liao Fengdi, who is trapped in the formation. Indeed, at this moment within the formation, Liao Fengdi has no effective strategy against Daoist Xianjun. In the exchange of blows, it's the same basic Taoist skills of Maoshan. In front of the mighty Taoist engine, they are utterly ineffective. After another palm strike, he is the one who remains injured. Kid, let your senior send you on your way. At this point, Taoist engine has lost patience. Before Liu Fengji finishes spitting blood, he floats behind him. Raising his hand, he delivers a powerful palm strike directly to Liu Fengji's lower back. Let Master know that he was wrong. He's blind. At this moment, Liu Fengji has no ability to defend himself, directly struck head-on. Since Taoist engine has already harbored murderous intent, this move must be ruthless and decisive. Liu Fengji's lower back is immediately pierced, and then his body falls powerless to the ground. His disciple, there is only me, watching Liu Fengji being struck to death by his own palm in the formation, Taoist engine feels quite pleased. Moreover, he has surpassed him. This idiot, who made his master and younger brother overly confident, has now died at his hands. He is the one truly in control. Blood blossoms beneath Liu Fengji. Is he really going to die like this? Of course not. In the midst of his joy, Taoist engine soon realizes that something seems off. The body lying on the ground is emitting a strange energy. That energy is extremely powerful, powerful enough to make him feel alarmed. As that energy disperses, Liu Fengji's body gradually rises, followed by an extremely dangerous aura spreading. How is this possible? Is this still the foolish Liu Fengji? Taoist engine looks at the unexpected change with a palpitation. In the formidable aura, a pair of wings faintly appears behind Liu Fengji. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 113. What are you looking for? Which direction? How did you end up at the edge of the cliff? At the edge of a cliff halfway up the Sanjiling, a group of people is running frantically. It's none other than the Black Fox and others who are desperately looking for a place to hide. There's a cave below. We can take shelter for a while. The situation is urgent. We can only come here. At this moment, the Black Fox is blaming Ahu. He asked him to find a place for everyone to settle, but how did they end up at the edge of a cliff? Ahu is also anxious. After all, this place took him a lot of effort to find. How can I guarantee this? I'm not a mountain god. Is it safe? Don't turn back. Struggle inside. There is a cave under the newly formed cliff. There is no time to do a more detailed investigation now. After all, this danger waits for no one. As a few people were talking, suddenly a thunderous sound echoed in the air. And immediately after, the bodies of the nine-headed dragon and the demon dragon appeared. Quick, hide. Oh no, they're here again. They are enjoying the fight. But the powerful airwaves are causing rocks to fly, and suddenly a large section of the cliff collapses. All right, let's go down. As Ahu said, they really can't control so much now. They can only go down and hide for a while. You guys go in first. I'll observe the situation. Be careful, with Black Fox protecting them. The group finally entered the cave safely. But Ahu didn't rest. While everyone was hiding, he had the task of gathering information. When Ahu came out, he found that the entire hillside had almost turned into a hell on earth. The battle between the nine-headed dragon and the demon dragon was truly intense. The nine-headed dragon is desperate for revenge. Its momentum is fierce. Its 9 heads crazily bite around the body of the demon dragon. The demon dragon is not weak either. With its huge body and amazing strength, it creates a gust of wind with a single roll, not giving the nine-headed dragon any advantage. The two mythical beasts each have extraordinary powers, causing the earth to shake and the sky to tremble. The battle ranges from the sky to the ground. and then from the ground to the lakeside. No one dares to approach the entire hillside for dozens of miles. Now let's talk about Duke Xianjun in the formation. At this moment, he is extremely shocked. In front of him, the once pitiful and cruelly tortured Liao Feng is now transformed into a terrifying figure that he can't understand at all. Not only are all the wounds on his body gone, but what's more eye-catching is the pair of wings formed by unknown energy behind him. Those wings are constantly releasing a terrifying and dangerous aura. "Senior brother, I beg you, release our master. I can't kill anyone now." A powerful and terrifying energy surrounds Liao Fengyi. Seeing it makes people shiver with fear. Although he is pleading for mercy, his words sound more like a threat. "I can't kill anyone. Otherwise, you useless fool, stop pretending to be mysterious." How could Du Qianjun, who has always kept Liao Feng underfoot, tolerate such a threat? He raised his hand, and a beam of light shot out. "This thing is useless in front of me." This energy struck directly at Liao Fengyi's chest, but Liao Fengyi didn't even try to dodge. Soon, Du Qianjun's eyes widened in amazement once again. "Don't force me. Release our master quickly, or it will be too late." The energy on Liao Fengyi caused almost no harm, not even slowing down his forward steps. "Fool, I've seen enough." Seeing this, Du Xianjun was really annoyed. This idiot in his eyes suddenly became stronger, which was beyond his imagination. "Go to hell." In an instant, powerful internal energy gathered in his hand again, fiercely attacking Liao Fengyi once more. "Just go ahead and die." This time, the force he unleashed could crush hundreds of tons of rocks into powder with a single blow. At this moment, Du Xianjun laughed sinisterly. What? But soon, the smile on his face froze, replaced by a look of shock. "Bastard, haven't I made it clear enough? I can't kill now." This foolish guy not only emerged unscathed, but also exuded a terrifying momentum. "Why force me?" Facing the formidable Liao Fengyi, Du Xianjun felt his difference for the first time. After a loud roar, Liao Fengyi rushed forward quickly. Almost in a blink, his fist was in front of Du Xianjun. "Is that all? This is not enough to impress me." Still the same basic moves as before. Facing this fundamental Maotian boxing technique, Du Xianjun didn't take it seriously. He slightly dodged to the side. But before he could finish his sentence, his expression changed suddenly. A cut appeared on his shoulder. The one attacking him was the strange wings behind Liao Fengyi. Just as Du Qianjun was momentarily stunned, Liao Fengyi's second punch had already arrived, hitting Du Qianjun's chest. In an instant, Du Qianjun's face changed again, because Liao Fengyi's strength inexplicably became terrifying. This punch sent him flying more than 10 meters away, crashing heavily to the ground. "You idiot!" This situation infuriated Du Xianjun even more. He was the most powerful one. How could this foolish guy possibly catch up with him? "You're just a foolish jester, not qualified to perform any reversal drama." Du Xianjun leaped suddenly, a palm after a palm attacking Liao Fengyi, each palm carrying immense energy. After quickly delivering several palms, he leaped behind Liao Fengyi, intending to attack those strange wings again. But this time, he suffered a big loss. The wings behind Liao Fengyi suddenly swelled several times, like arrows piercing through his shoulder once again. "Nonsense, release our master, and I'll spare your life." Du Xianjun still couldn't understand what happened to this idiot. Why did everything change? But before he could figure it out, the pitch-black wings suddenly transformed into several spiritual snakes, attacking him in the blink of an eye. Those wings, like the claws of a demon king, tightly trapped Du Xianjun. However, the leader of the god-dragon sect was not to be underestimated. He shattered 2 black swords and escaped. Then he used all his strength to launch an attack. However, at this moment, another discovery made him immediately abandon this idea. Release our master. I don't want to kill. Suddenly, the wings behind Liu Fengyi turned into a huge energy ring, swiftly swirling a tornado in the air. This tornado carried immense energy. Forget about counterattacking. Even stabilizing the body was difficult, and the gust felt like a cutting blade. Don't force me. Moreover, looking at Liu Fengyi's terrifying appearance, this power seemed to be continuously increasing. Fear rose in his heart, and then Du Xianjun disappeared. In this formation, he was just a clone. But at this moment, Liu Fengyi clearly had no intention of letting him go. The scared eyes emitted a dazzling red light in an instant. Under the illumination of the red light, the space in front of him unexpectedly revealed the formation where Qiudi was situated. She was currently under attack by another clone of Du Xianjun, and the situation was extremely dangerous. Liu Fengyi extended his large hand, and a burst of energy shot out. While others' energy was in the form of pillars of light, the energy he released was pitch black like ink, giving a particularly terrifying feeling. This pitch black energy was exceptionally powerful, instantly shattering the barriers of the formation. Before the clone of Du Xianjun could comprehend what was happening, Liu Fengyi's strike had already pierced through his chest, and then this clone dissipated. Qiudi was finally saved, but she quickly noticed that something was off with Liu Fengyi. The current Liu Fengyi felt very unfamiliar and even somewhat terrifying to her. "What's wrong with you?" Indeed, no matter how she called out, it seemed like Liu Fengyi couldn't hear her. He was very indifferent, as if at this moment, his eyes were only focused on the escaping leader of the God Dragon sect, Du Xianjun. "Where do you think you're going?" He looked up, then struck out with his palm, instantly blasting away the barriers of the formation that had trapped Lu Xing. Lu Xing was covered in wounds. If it weren't for his strong willpower, he would have fallen to the ground long ago. The barriers of the formation all around were repeatedly shattered, and waves of energy continued to burst open. See the difference now. Du Xianjun, who was just filled with confidence and arrogance, now had cold sweat on his forehead. "Do you know why I named him Fengyi?" At this moment, Red Boy behind them spoke again. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 114. Who exactly is he? What? Are you afraid? Let's continue from where we left off. Just as Du Xianjun was shocked, looking at the formation where Liu Feng was, Lai Bai, behind him, slowly spoke. "Afraid? Defeating oneself can defeat me. Are you getting muddled in your old age? Did he make you feel timid?" Of course, Du Xianjun in the formation is just a clone created within the formation and does not represent his true strength. However, being able to overcome the fear within oneself, that's not something an ordinary person can achieve. "Do you know why I named him Fengyi?" With a smile, Lai Bai brings us back to the mountains of Tianxi more than 10 years ago. Let's use his memories to understand a legendary episode in Liu Fengyi's life. "Old Lai, must you be so ruthless? You've sown too much karma. Damn it." So more than 10 years ago, a demon phoenix appeared in the 100,000 mountains of Tianxi. It was a crow that had cultivated for thousands of years. This demon phoenix had a history with Lai Bai. But unfortunately, during its transformation into a phoenix, it developed a devil in its heart, angered the heavens, and consumed more than 900 innocent people. Considering your inherently good nature, if you're willing to let go of your cultivation and follow me back to the mountain, I'll give you a chance to start anew. Here we need to clarify a misunderstanding. Although people in the Central Plains often name girls Feng, or even consider Feng as a representation of females, Feng is actually the name of a divine bird. Feng is male and Huang is female. Feng is the phoenix. Even if I trust you, I don't trust those guys. Will they spare my eyes? Hundreds of mages from the Central Plains forced the demon phoenix into the Tianmen mountain gorge. Lai Boi originally wanted to leave it an escape route, but by this time, the demon phoenix had successfully transformed into a phoenix and was unwilling to be captured. Enough talk. Let's determine who's superior. And he also understood that the reason so many righteous sects came to kill him was for the phoenix eye he cultivated. With this eye, one could comprehend the great Tao of heaven and earth. Lie, old Tao, don't blame me for being heartless, accusing him of harming the innocent. These people were no better. The aura of the demon phoenix surged and attacked Lai Bai first. But even before it approached Lai Bai, he knew today was doomed. He would definitely die here. Well, because Lai Bai unexpectedly used the world's top treasure, the overturning seal. It's said that this treasure from Ashen Town had only been used twice in history. Once when the western region's earth fire dragon was born, and the other during the chaos caused by the divine beast, 9 infants on Yanshan. Mashin's hidden treasure overturning seal. I promise to protect your kind, unexpectedly, today. To deal with himself, Lai Bai once again summoned this artifact. The demon phoenix's heart chilled. It knew it was undoubtedly going to die. Will definitely achieve it. Indeed, when the overturning seal was activated, a dazzling golden light shot out. The demon phoenix felt every feather on its body burning. Now, I'll trouble all you heavenly beings. However, the overturning seal is a suppressing tool, eliminating all the demon power from the Black Phoenix demon's body. At the same time, Lai Bai also called upon the 9 heavenly gods. Now, the heart of that Black Phoenix demon sank even further. With the appearance of the true gods, the Black Phoenix demon, despite its millennia of cultivation, was in vain. It didn't even have a chance to retaliate. Instantly, it was shattered into pieces, its soul scattered. Lai Bai knew that many people around were eyeing the phoenix eye of the Black Phoenix demon. If the phoenix eye truly spread into the world, it would undoubtedly cause a bloody massacre. So he had been standing by, cultivating to the stage of phoenix transformation. Wanting to annihilate both form and spirit was not easy. The Black Phoenix demon had cultivated a sturdy body. Despite such a heavy blow, it was not completely incinerated. Lai Bai could only suppress it with a divine talisman. At the same time, he removed the phoenix eye, thinking of bringing it back to Maoshan to preserve a trace of divine energy for the Black Phoenix demon, giving it a chance to rebuild in the future. However, as soon as the eye was taken out, Lai Bai realized that it was not the phoenix eye. Then he suddenly realized that he had fallen into the trap set by the Black Phoenix demon. Looking up, he saw several shadows flashing across the sky. It turned out that the kin of the Black Phoenix demon had been waiting on the side, and while Lai Bai was feeling emotional, they had already snatched away the true phoenix eye. Bold evildoer, Lai Bai couldn't let it bring this thing back into the world. With a flick of his finger, a golden light shot towards the old crow. The crow couldn't withstand Lai Bai's attack. It immediately opened its mouth, and the phoenix eye fell into the deep mountains below. But as fate would have it, at this moment, a child was walking along the mountain path with a bamboo basket on his back. The phoenix eye fell right onto the child's eyes. Such divine objects were not easily replaced. They merged with the spirit. When Lai Bai arrived, he saw a child writhing on the ground in pain. For a young child, the intrusion of divine spirit was extremely painful. Seeing this situation, Lai Bai thought to himself, "This is not good." He hurriedly jumped off the cliff and approached the child. At this moment, the child's body was overflowing with demonic energy. The massive influx of demonic energy tormented the child to the brink of unconsciousness, and his body trembled continuously under the pressure of the demonic energy. However, this was ultimately an innocent child. Liboi knew that no matter what means he used, he might end up hurting the child. For a moment, he hesitated. But then, at that moment, a terrifying change occurred in the child's body. The powerful and dense demonic energy inflated the child's body to the point of almost exploding. Suddenly, a dazzling red light shot out from one of the child's eyes, and it seemed like scales were forming on his body. A sharp phoenix cry pierced the air. The child was completely under the control of the demonic energy. Having just succumbed to the demonic energy, the child lacked any rationality and acted purely on instinct. The most dangerous aspect at this moment was the old man beside him. So he ferociously pounced towards Liboi. Liboi wasn't afraid of this kind of attack, but considering the opponent was just a child, he couldn't bring himself to harm him, fearing that he might injure the child. However, with the child under the control of demonic energy, he would undoubtedly go on a rampage and harm innocent lives. Therefore, Liboi reluctantly uttered the words, "Immeasurable celestial Lord," and made a painful strike. To his surprise, his lethal move was resisted by the child, who soon stood up and emitted another sharp shriek. Then he fiercely lunged again. At this point, his body underwent some changes under the influence of the demonic energy, and it seemed like he was transforming into a monster. Although Liboi felt sorry for the child, he couldn't allow him to become a demon. For a moment, his gaze towards the child was extremely complex. The child's attack missed unexpectedly, and Liboi quickly moved behind him. Yet, the child was relentless. Missing one strike, he swiftly turned around and charged again. To prevent the birth of another monster in the world, Liboi gritted his teeth and made a firm decision. In front of him, sacrificing this child seemed to be the only option. Many cultivators harbor good intentions, but indecision can only allow more beings to suffer. When the child rushed forward again, Liboi raised his hand to deliver a strike intending to shatter the child's body. However, at that moment, Liboi suddenly noticed that the child's other eye had regained a hint of consciousness, surprising him. But it was too late to retract his move. A massive force instantly sent the child flying. The child's clothes instantly turned to ashes, but Liboi found that his body remained unharmed by the flames. Was it the formidable demonic energy resisting the attack, or did the child have a unique constitution? Liboi curiously took a few steps forward and examined, forming a hypothesis in his mind. At this point, the child stood up once again, but still under the control of demonic energy. Liboi thought that the clarity he noticed in the child's eyes earlier might have been a mistake, driven by his compassion for the child. This time, Liboi didn't hesitate anymore. He concentrated his power on his palm and pressed it against the child's forehead. "Child, I'm sorry." Leaving at this critical point, a slight increase in force from Liboi's hand would annihilate both the Black Phoenix demon and the child's soul. "Leave my body." The child's sudden roar made Liboi's hand pause in midair. It seemed this child not only had a unique body, but also an exceptionally strong soul. In the end, Liboi couldn't bring himself to strike. He took the child as his disciple, named him Leo Fengi, and spent a full 10 years teaching him in these 100,000 mountains. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 115. Well, this is too dangerous. As the person emerged from the grass, it became clear that it was the long-lost Taoist Zhang Daoling. Thanks to my fast running. Otherwise my life would have been in jeopardy. After rebuilding the Iron Bull sect, he took on the role of sect master in a decent manner. However, due to his inherently lazy and carefree nature, he quickly felt stifled and bored. Moreover, he was worried about Liu Fengdi, so he handed over the Daoist temple to Little She and ventured northward all the way here. Unexpectedly, he encountered a fierce battle between a Jiaolong and a shaman of the divine dragon shamanism. As soon as he arrived at the divine dragon shamanism, startled, he hurriedly hid in the woods. Just as he caught his breath, he suddenly noticed a huge golden eagle descending from the sky. Can't be true. Another one is coming from above. This frightened Daoist Zhang Daoling, rolling and crawling out of the woods. He was about to complain about his ill-fated destiny when he realized that monsters could be encountered everywhere. A black shadow flashed before his eyes, and a huge black panther pounced fiercely in front of him. Daoist Zhang Daoling was so scared that he was stupid on the spot, thinking that this time it was really over. Wait, don't hurt anyone. Just when Daoist Zhang Daoling thought his life was about to end and was prepared to go see his master, a voice suddenly sounded behind him, causing both the golden eagle and the black panther to retreat. Daoist, why is it you? Why are you here? You are. Busy turning his head to look, Daoist Zhang Daoling was surprised to see a teenager of 14 or 15 who had saved him. From the looks of it, the young man seemed to recognize him. Daoist, don't you recognize me anymore? The young man turned in place and unexpectedly turned into a large rat. Taking a closer look, the red fur on the rat's head was quite familiar. Is it Ahuo? Ah, Ahuo, it's hard for you to come looking for us. Daoist, your nose is running. Daoist Zhang Daoling suddenly remembered. Wasn't this the immortal Ahuo who had been following Liu Fengdi all along? Well, Daoist Zhang Daoling was finally meeting a relative and hugged Ahuo affectionately. By the way, where's Fengdi? Why haven't I seen him? Did something happen? You didn't give me a chance to talk. After wiping his nose and tears all over Ahuo, Daoist Zhang Daoling finally asked about Liu Fengdi. You guys keep watch. I'll be right back. All right, kid. You're already a big brother now. Ahuo originally came to investigate the terrain with his unique skills and secret weapons. At this point, he handed the task to them, and taking Daoist Zhang Daoling, headed towards the cave below the cliff. Where did those three bastards run off to again? Speaking of which, inside the cave, besides the three unconscious individuals, there was only the black fox left. He had sent the Liaodong 3 killers and the 3-headed mastiff out to observe the situation, but it had been quite a while, and not a single person had returned. The black fox dared not leave while guarding here, and he was also worried about the situation outside. In this dilemma, he suddenly heard a moan behind him. Turning around, he saw that Xiadi and Luxing had both awakened. You finally woke up. Are you okay? Black Fox hurriedly inquired about the situation, but these two seemed as if they had just awakened from a nightmare, their heads still a bit dazed as they stared blankly at Black Fox. Why hasn't Fengdi woken up yet? But it wasn't the time for detailed explanations. The three quickly realized that only Liu Fengdi had yet to wake up. What happened to you just now? He saved us. Xiadi was especially worried. They were trapped in a formation, and Liu Fengdi broke the formation to rescue her and Luxing. Liu Fengdi was acting strangely at that time, and now he still hasn't woken up, which is deeply concerning. At this moment, his face turned pale, as if he was undergoing some kind of pain. In fact, Liu Fengdi had already come out of Duke Xianjun's formation, but he couldn't escape his own spiritual world, because there was someone appearing in his spiritual world. How do you feel, kid, having such powerful strength? Before, Liu Fengdi only knew that there was a forbidden area in his spiritual world that he couldn't enter no matter what. Unexpectedly, there was a strange person with wings like a demon hidden there. Feels amazing, doesn't it? Listening to his words, the terrifying power he suddenly possessed was indeed related to him. "Hey, you better be grateful for the power I've given you." "Who are you? Get out of my body." Since there are two people in this body, it's not certain who it belongs to yet, and this demon king even wanted to take over his body. "Get out, my body belongs only to me." The situation outside was urgent, and Liu Fengyi didn't want to be trapped here. He shouted and rushed forward. "Do you have the power to protect him? All your power belongs to me." The man seemed to completely disregard Liu Fengyi. When Liu Fengyi attacked, he didn't move a muscle. Liu Fengyi quickly understood why the other party was so calm. It was because the pair of black wings that grew behind him instantly turned into several ropes, tightly binding him. Indeed, the power of those black wings came from the other person, and of course, obeyed him. "Don't struggle in vain. My power can help you deal with others, and of course, it can deal with you too." "You bastard, shameless demon." Liu Fengyi was suddenly a bit frustrated. He was about to shout a few curses, but the ropes suddenly tightened, forcing Liu Fengyi to immediately spit out blood, rendering him unable to speak. "Accept reality. How about we make a deal? Take turns using this body." The Demon King, satisfied with his show of strength, quickly shifted the conversation to propose a compromise. As soon as his words were spoken, a powerful force attacked Liu Fengyi, forcing him to kneel on the ground with a thud. Dream on. But if he thought that by doing this, he could force Liu Fengyi to agree, then he really underestimated Liu Fengyi. "My body belongs only to me." At this moment, a tremendous surge of spiritual energy erupted from Liu Fengyi, instantly shaking off the ropes that bound him. "You'll never have a say, no matter when." With the eruption and strengthening of his spiritual energy, those pitch-black wings gradually disappeared. "I finally understand. Have you figured it out? My power will only make you stronger." Hearing Liu Fengyi say he understood, the demon phoenix felt delighted, thinking that Liu Fengyi had agreed to the proposal. "I finally understand why Master only let me lay a solid foundation. Cultivate spiritual energy, uphold one's true self, undisturbed by any demonic influences." During the battle with Duke Xianjun, Liu Fengyi initially thought Master considered him too dull, only teaching the most basic martial arts. But now, he realized that laying a solid foundation was the key to preserving one's true self. Now, Liu Fengyi consecutively formed several hand seals in his hands, gathering all his spiritual energy into his palms. Then, two streams of spiritual energy simultaneously surged and struck the ground beneath his feet. "How does it feel?" The ground was immediately shattered and dented by the impact of the two spiritual energies. "You really are a fool." As expected, this area was the Demon Phoenix's barrier. As it shattered, the Demon Phoenix's body also fragmented. "If I disappear, your power will vanish too, and you'll turn back into a useless novice." However, the Demon Phoenix was right. If he disappeared, the power Liu Fengyi had gained would also vanish. How could he then save his master and ensure the safety of those around him? Wasn't this tremendous power what he desired most? "I was originally a novice, and my aptitude is foolish." But Liu Fengyi's response completely surprised the Demon Phoenix. Faced with temptation, not many could uphold their true selves, and Liu Fengyi was truly extraordinary. "You fool, don't you desire to become stronger?" But he refused to accept it, couldn't understand. In his eyes, only a fool would make such a choice. "Without my power, you'll be a weakling for your entire life, you fool." The Demon Phoenix's body slowly turned into powder, but amidst the debris, a bright red bead appeared. Liu Fengyi wasn't truly foolish. This thing was the essence accumulated by the Demon Phoenix in its millennia of cultivation, an absolute treasure. Having lived in my body for so long, it's time to pay some rent. Moreover, this thing had been in his body for over 10 years. Easily processable, Liao Fengyi grabbed the bead and threw it into his mouth. Besides, with the death of the demon phoenix, the spatial barrier instantly shattered. Liao Fengyi came out of the barrier and returned to his own spiritual world. In reality, Liao Fengyi finally woke up. But as soon as he opened his eyes, his face turned crimson. "Fengyi, is something wrong?" "Nothing. You're awake. Why is your face so red?" Seeing Liao Fengyi wake up, everyone was overjoyed. Seeing his bright red face, they all thought he wasn't feeling well and anxiously inquired about his condition. "Kid, thought you were a goner." Facing everyone's inquiries, Liao Fengyi felt awkward and didn't know how to explain. Just then, a familiar voice rang out, saving him. "Taoist, how did you come here?" The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 116. In the previous episode, we were discussing that the three unconscious individuals finally woke up. Since everyone was not in danger, there was no need to hide in the cave anymore. So everyone climbed up. When they came out and took a look, everyone was stunned. It was too lively outside. Within dozens of miles around the lake, the mountains collapsed, and the trees were either uprooted or broken in half. The scene was a mess. Truly a hell on earth. Of course, all of this was caused by the intense aerial battle between the Moby Demon Dragon and the nine-headed Flood Dragon. Speaking of the current situation, the Moby Demon Dragon was obviously more ferocious. Both heads of the nine-headed Flood Dragon were seriously injured, putting it at a disadvantage. "You go save your master. I'll help the nine-headed Flood Dragon." At this point, there was no time to care whether he agreed or not. Seeing this, the Black Fox couldn't bear it anymore. With the Spirit Fox sword in hand, he was about to go help. "Wait, I feel that this demon dragon is not quite right." However, Liao Fengyi stopped him, not because he didn't care about the nine-headed Flood Dragon, but because he had made a new discovery. Since swallowing the inner core of that Black Phoenix demon, Liao Fengyi could clearly feel that what his scarred right eye saw was different from usual. At this moment, the demon dragon looked strange, no matter how he looked at it. At this time, Liao Fengyi still didn't know that his eye was called the Phoenix Eye, a demonic god's eye that could see the essence of all things in the world. He saw that this demon dragon clearly had multiple images. Upon closer inspection, he discovered that the dragon's body was not a whole, but composed of tiny particles the size of grains of rice. Nine-headed Flood Dragon. Don't be fooled, he's not a demon dragon at all. Let's talk about it later. Nine-headed Flood Dragon is currently struggling in the battle, and suddenly, Liao Fengyi's voice echoed in his divine consciousness. "Hellish Van Wind transforming into a demon dragon is just deceiving people." What? So he's actually a pile of insects. After Liao Fengyi's reminder, the nine-headed Flood Dragon understood why it felt so difficult to cope with its 9 heads. It turned out that the demon dragon was not a unified entity. Why is the nine-headed Flood Dragon getting more spirited? At this point, let's introduce the true identity of this Moby Demon Dragon. The so-called terrifying Van Wind that devours humans and animals in the northern desert is actually a kind of insect disaster. The Van Wind is formed by billions of demon insects, and this demon dragon is the leader of the insect tribe that is cultivated for tens of thousands of years and transformed into. Understanding the truth, the nine-headed Flood Dragon had a plan. Its 9 heads gathered together and fiercely pounced on the demon dragon. This time it worked, instantly cutting the demon dragon in half at the waist. This further confirmed what Liao Fengyi had seen. Although the small insects were cut apart, they quickly recombined. For now, the nine-headed flood dragon will be fine. You all stay here and watch. Knowing the enemy is crucial in a battle, and with a thorough understanding of the opponent, the crisis for the nine-headed flood dragon was temporarily resolved. Kid, can you handle this on your own? Don't be reckless. I'll go save my master. Liao Fengyi asked everyone to stay and assist the nine-headed flood dragon, while he rushed towards the mountain cliff. Aware of his master's situation, he was anxious to rescue him as soon as possible. Be careful. Got it. While Liao Fengyi hurried away, others couldn't help but worry about him. Don't worry, I feel he has become much stronger than before. Watching the worried faces of the group, the black fox spoke first. Before they could fully grasp the meaning of the black fox's words, a loud noise suddenly echoed from the sky. Looking up, the two semi-suspended giant beasts once again clashed. The nine-headed flood dragon was noticeably more fierce than before, gradually gaining the upper hand. However, the Moby demon dragon was no pushover. It suddenly twisted its body into a pitch-black tornado. Moreover, the momentum of this tornado was growing, soon covering half the sky. Forced to take shelter in the forest temporarily, the nine-headed flood dragon in midair was already engulfed by the tornado. A nine-headed serpent can actually force me to reveal my true form. Well done. Insects dare to call me an old man. The tornado quickly surged into the sky. Within the tornado, the true form of the demon dragon appeared, confronting the nine-headed flood dragon. Since I can devour your entire clan, I can also devour you, ignorant junior. This demon dragon was indeed arrogant. The massive Van Wind tornado actually aimed to devour both the nine-headed flood dragon's essence and its physical body. Hemph. If you have the guts, come at me. But as the saying goes, the nine-headed flood dragon is a natural divine beast. How could it be intimidated? It mobilized its true form and engaged in a battle with the Moby demon dragon. The fierce battle between the two divine beasts naturally concerned Du Xianjun. Seeing the true form of the demon dragon exposed, he felt that this battle could not be prolonged any further. It seems everything should come to an end. We shouldn't give you any more expectations. No one can stop me from dominating the world. At this moment, he extended his hands, and a dense energy gathered on his palms. In front of him were his mentor and fellow brothers. Just as he was about to strike, 3 golden lights swiftly shot toward him. Of course, such an attack couldn't harm him. You're just a scoundrel who betrays teachers and exterminates ancestors. The money dart landed, and it was undoubtedly Liao Fengyi who had arrived. Go to hell. Liao Fengyi's arrival was swift, but his martial arts, however fierce, were not worth mentioning in front of Du Xianjun. Another one seeking death, a punch missed, and Du Xianjun had already evaded from a distance. Trying to run, no way however, due to Liao Fengyi's appearance, Master Wu Han seized the opportunity to jump off the cliff with Lai Bai. It wasn't that Master Wu Han was bold. He was quite clever, knowing that the two of them would only become a burden and concern for Liao Fengyi here. Du Xianjun couldn't let them escape. He raised his hand to attack, but Liao Fengyi was closely watching his every move. At this moment, Liao Fengyi threw a large rock to block Du Xianjun. Do you think you're saving them? Your delay will only make them suffer more. Du Xianjun was somewhat infuriated at this point. He didn't want the world to know about his deeds of betraying teachers and exterminating ancestors. Overestimating your abilities? Nonsense. Then I'll kill you first. All these people must die. Not only did Du Xianjun release strong killing intent, but even Liao Fengyi was itching with hatred. With a swift step, he charged ahead. Thank you, Master Wu Han. I will handle this. Meanwhile, Master Wu Han, who had jumped down from the cliff top, said, Don't worry too much about Fengyi. I think he's different from before. That Black Phoenix demon's demonic core is too intense. I'm worried he can't control his inner demons. After landing without much injury, Master Wuhan could clearly see the change in Liu Fengyi. Seeing Lai Bai's concern, he spoke to comfort him. Well, you've taught him the fundamentals for 10 years to guard his true self. He'll be fine. I hope so, but Lai Bai understood the situation better. The Black Phoenix demon was almost at the godly level, a terrifying power that a young kid couldn't easily control. Just as Master Wuhan hadn't yet unlocked the iron lock, 2 more people jumped down from the cliff top. Hand him over to us. These 2 individuals look exactly the same, seemingly twins. They are the warriors that Duke Xianjun has consistently assigned to guard Lai Bai. They appear to be capable, but it's uncertain if the heavily injured Master Wuhan can withstand them. Meanwhile, on the cliff top, Liu Fengyi has already reached Duke Xianjun. A fierce series of punches and kicks force Duke Xianjun to step back repeatedly. However, these rapid attacks didn't pose any threat to Duke Xianjun. He still effortlessly countered them. I don't know where you got a bit of power from. Effortlessly deflecting the attacks, Duke Xianjun's face revealed a hint of disdain. Perhaps he hadn't noticed Liu Fengyi's transformation. But it's still useless. You can't change your essence. You waste. Of course not. Duke Xianjun was even more cunning. He realized that Liu Fengyi hadn't truly fused with the mysterious power, and he struggled to control that mysterious force. Enough talk. You're like a 3-year-old child holding a peerless sword. So, what he needed to do now was to strike Liu Fengyi and thoroughly shake his confidence. Ridiculous. If the heart is unstable, not only can you not control that force, but you'll also be tormented by inner demons. Under Duke Xianjun's continuous provocation, Liu Fengyi became increasingly inaccurate, unable to defend against the relentless attacks. Duke Xianjun is truly formidable. He can accurately predict and exploit everything. Liu Fengyi's body once again deeply slammed into the cliff wall. This time, he didn't quickly stand up. Face reality. Even with this power, you are still useless. But Duke Xianjun's arrogant voice echoed through the cliff. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 117. Continuing from the previous text, Liu Fengyi can be considered to have suffered a lot. He was tormented from his body to his soul by that Daoist Xianjun, leaving him with no strength to resist. Hey, give up. Looking at Liu Fengyi lying among the broken stones, Daoist Xianjun coldly smiled, and with a flicker, appeared before him again. Before Liu Fengyi could struggle out of the rock wall, he was kicked into midair again. Liu Fengyi, suspended in midair, saw a dark shadow flash before his eyes, and Daoist Xianjun was once again in front of him. Then, a brilliant golden light shone on his palm, and a palm fiercely slapped Liu Fengyi's body. The force of this palm was extremely strong. Even though Liu Fengyi had been carefully taught by his master for 10 years and had a solid foundation, he still couldn't withstand it. Liu Fengyi fell to the ground like a meteor, instantly causing stones to fly and creating a large pit in the ground. At this moment, Liu Fengyi was left with only one breath, feeling that every bone in his body was creaking. Faced with consecutive blows, he was on the verge of collapse. No matter how hard he tried, he could never catch up with Daoist Xianjun. In front of him, he was like a 3-year-old child. Go to hell. At this moment, Daoist Xianjun knew that his goal had been achieved. He couldn't let this opportunity pass, and quickly leaped into the air. Have a good reincarnation in the next life. A palm struck in midair, and a powerful and dazzling light shot straight toward Liu Fengyi. Liu Fengyi's heart sank. This palm was sure to turn him into ashes. But at this moment, a red light shot straight towards Daoist Tianjin. Because his focus was on killing Liu Fengyi, he was caught off guard by this sudden attack. However, such an attack couldn't harm Daoist Tianjin at all. He effortlessly somersaulted in the air and landed steadily on the ground. Bastard, Xiaodi, kill this old rascal. Turning around, it turned out that Xiaodi and the tattered old Taoist had rushed over. Good, having Black Fox there is enough, but Liu Fengyi facing Daoist Tianjin alone worried them. So, the tattered old Taoist and Xiaodi hurried over. Seeing Liu Fengyi in danger, Xiaodi timely whipped out her whip, blocking Daoist Tianjin's attack. To deal with you, a single finger is enough for this old man. Seeing his killer move interrupted, Daoist Tianjin was unusually angry. With a turn of his palm, he attacked Xiaodi. Xiaodi, be careful. It wasn't an exaggeration when Daoist Tianjin warned. The force of this finger approached the tattered old Taoist and Xiaodi like thunder, and their faces changed instantly. Powerful energy burst forth, immediately sending both of them flying. Their bodies, not as trained as Liu Fengyi's 10 years of practice, lay on the ground and couldn't get up again. Your master betrayed me back then. You stopped talking nonsense, especially Xiaodi, who was injured in the previous battle, couldn't get up this time. Daoist Tianjin walked over with a low and heavy demeanor. I shouldn't have been soft-hearted back then. I should have killed her directly. It turned out Daoist Tianjin still held a grudge against Xiaodi's master for the betrayal back then. You are just as despicable as her. Then let's die together. At this moment, he vented all this hatred on Xiaodi. His eyes suddenly turned cold, ready to strike. Old rascal, don't be insolent. But the tattered old Taoist behind him climbed up with a roar and rushed towards Daoist Tianjin. We know this tattered old Taoist. Whatever else may be lacking, his ability to withstand hits is super strong. Eat a punch from Dao Yi, bastard, overestimating yourself. Seeing Xiaodi in danger, he anxiously waved his fist and charged. Dao Yi thought very simply, if Daoist Tianjin killed Xiaodi, how could he face Liu Fengyi? Then you go to hell too, but Dao Yi's skills were indeed not that great. Daoist Tianjin reached out and grabbed his head. This time, he was truly ruthless. The tattered old Taoist, despite being resistant to beatings, was ultimately an ordinary person. How could he withstand such a fierce attack? His eyes rolled back, and he fainted. Dao Ye, seeing the tattered old Taoist and Xiaodi rushing over because of concern for him being in danger, Liu Fengyi, supporting his body, struggled to climb up. You bastard! Powered by some unknown strength, he gritted his teeth, stood up, and once again rushed towards Daoist Tianjin. Go to hell. Under the stimulus of anger, this attack was obviously much more fierce than before. Useless. Although he exerted all his strength, it was still easily resolved by Daoist Tianjin. Fool will always be a fool. Almost without touching Daoist Tianjin's clothes, Liu Fengyi was once again knocked down to the ground. Immediately, a big foot stepped on Liu Fengyi's head. Fengyi, just go and die peacefully. Your master, friends, lover will all soon accompany you. With a forceful step, Daoist Tianjin's foot gradually pressed Liu Fengyi's head into the broken stones. It was not only humiliating, but also seemed like he would lose his life on the spot. Seeing Liu Fengyi hanging by a thread, Xiaodi struggled anxiously and climbed up. Let him go. Despite knowing that she was not a match for Daoist Tianjin, she couldn't bear to watch Liu Fengyi die helplessly. I won't let you kill the people I love again. Picking up the whip, she swiftly moved towards Daoist Tianjin. Never, each person she deeply loved had left her one by one. She didn't want to and couldn't bear to lose anyone else. Even if the opponent is strong, even if it costs her life, she will do her best to protect them. Unexpectedly, you are much braver than your master. However, the disparity in strength between the two sides is too great. Xiaodi's whip swung empty, and Daoist Tianjin instantly appeared behind her. If back then she could have supported me, why suffer such a miserable fate? Go join her. Tell her that I once had a sincere heart towards her. For an instant, time seemed to freeze. Xiaodi. After a moment, Liao Fengyi's suppressed and painful voice echoed through the valley. I'll deal with them. Back to the cliff. The two guards had already rushed to the front of Master Wangxi and Lidui. Master Wangxi hurriedly greeted them, ignoring his own internal injuries at this moment. In fact, his body had long been extremely weak. If it were in normal times, he wouldn't even bother with these two guys, but things were different now. Unable to react in time, the two warriors reached his chest with a blow. These two people, assigned to guard Leibui, couldn't be weak in martial arts. At this point, Master Wangxi was somewhat desperate. On the top of the cliff, the battle in midair was already in an unfavorable state. Could it be that their side was going to lose? The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 118. Continuing from the previous episode, we were just discussing the two warriors below the cliff. One had defeated the Honesty Master, while the other was attacking Reibu Yi. However, Reibu Yi was still restrained at this moment, making it seem like he was at the mercy of others. Just then, a figure jumped down from the cliff top and landed right in front of Reibu Yi. The person was none other than Luo Sheng. He swiftly threw a punch, sending the warrior attacking outwards. While this issue was resolved, the situation for the Honesty Master was still perilous. Luo Sheng quickly threw a sword. The sword didn't stab the warrior but grazed his body, piercing into the rock wall, blocking his attack. The warrior was startled and turned to look. But as soon as he turned around, Luo Sheng had already rushed to him and delivered a powerful punch in midair. Luo Sheng's martial arts were meticulously taught by the Honesty Master, coupled with his extraordinary talent. His skills were extraordinary. Is Mo Xuangui getting bold, daring to act tough in front of me? However, being a young man, he couldn't help but feel proud after a successful strike. The warrior named Mo Xuangui had followed Du Xianjin for many years and was a loyal follower. Naturally, he wouldn't be scared off by Luo Sheng's words. With a flash of fierceness in his eyes, he charged forward again. Speaking of Luo Sheng, he knew how formidable Mo Xuangui was. He dodged and retreated, but unexpectedly, after retreating 2 steps, he bumped into something hard behind him. It turned out there was another ghost standing behind him. Seeing Luo Sheng bump into his arms, the ghost raised both fists and fiercely struck down. Unexpectedly, this fierce punch hit nothing but air. There was no one in front of him. I am over here. It turned out that Luo Sheng had agilely moved behind him long ago and delivered a palm to his back. The Honesty Master really spared no effort in teaching Luo Sheng, making his internal strength profound at a young age. With this palm, he immediately sent the guy flying. However, as this ghost fell to the ground, another one pounced forward, taking advantage of Luo Sheng's moment of inattention, launching a sneak attack from behind. But Luo Sheng was already prepared. With a slight tap of his toe, he leaped into the air. In a flip, he landed behind the opponent and swiftly delivered a palm strike. Instantly, the guy flew out, tumbling to the ground. Not satisfied, however, these 2 ghosts cultivated formidable body techniques, incredibly robust. Despite the injuries, they quickly got up. Shall we attack together? Fine. This time, having learned their lesson, they launched a simultaneous attack, clearly intending to corner Luo Sheng. Then let's deal with both of you together. Luo Sheng, however, was truly extraordinary. Not only did he show no fear, but he also excitedly brandished his sword and charged at Mo Xuangui and his companion. As a master, the honesty master was naturally pleased to see his disciples' growth. However, Reibu Yi's face showed a hint of worry. Luo Sheng's arrogance was too high, and he might suffer in the future. Didn't he want to follow the immortal master and ascend to immortality? Moreover, since Luo Sheng wanted to fight, he did it cleanly. With a few swift sword moves, he cut Mo Xuangui and his companion in half. I'll grant your wish. As the two bodies fell to the ground, Luo Sheng landed steadily. Master, are you all right? Let me check on Reibu Master. I'll try unlocking it. What kind of lock is this? With Mo Xuangui dealt with, Luo Sheng hurriedly helped the honesty master and approached Reibu Yi. This lock requires using true key. No, only Du Xianjun can open this lock. As his brother, I should be able to. You're injured. Let me handle it. The honesty master understood. This chair's lock could only be opened with Du Xianjun's true qi. As a close brother, that honesty master tried his best to attempt it. He mobilized the pure elemental true key within him, concentrated it on the tips of his right-hand fingers, and then rapidly pointed to the yin-yang diagram on the chair's back. Sure enough, as true key infused, the yin-yang fish began to rotate under the influence of his two fingers. A creaking metallic sound followed, and the iron hook stuck in Reibu Yi's spine was released. After a miserable scream, Reibu Yi's weakened body seemed to deflate. Let me support you and take a break. But your body, no, I must go to the cliff top immediately. However, this wasn't a suitable place to rest. The honesty master helped Reibu Yi, intending to find a place for him to recuperate. Yet, Reibu Yi was anxious to go to the cliff top to meet Liu Fengyi. Fengyi still has an unresolved mental barrier inside her. She can't completely break through on her own. As soon as the honesty master heard that Liu Fengyi had an inner barrier, he knew it was a matter of life and death. He had to find a way to take Reibu Yi back to the cliff top as quickly as possible. Don't you want to see your master? Then go down and take good care of her. Speaking of the cliff top, Du Xianjun pierced through Xiaodi's chest with a single palm strike. Soon after, Xiaodi's body fell powerless. In Xiaodi's heart, there was a lot of unwillingness. At this moment, scenes of her short life flashed before her eyes. Her parents were killed by bandits when she was young. Fortunately, she was raised with love by her master. However, her master, entangled in love, ultimately met a tragic end. Later, she encountered the clumsy and silly Liu Fengyi. No, the two of them had experienced life and death along the way. Just as emotions were quietly arising, thinking they could finally have the sweet happiness of an ordinary girl, is this the ending? I want to die. Xiaodi looked at Liu Fengyi unwillingly, hoping he could live on well, carrying her expectations, and live a happy life. Seeing Xiaodi, who was killed by Du Xianjun to save him, Liu Fengyi was completely stunned. Seeing Xiaodi lying motionless on the ground, he felt as if all the blood in his body rushed to his head. Xiaodi, I hate people like you, waiting until someone dies to explode. What were you doing earlier? At this moment, Liu Fengyi could hardly feel any sensation in his body. No pain, no awareness. It was as if this body wasn't his own. Everything in front of him became less real. Every punch he threw seemed like an illusion. He seemed unable to distinguish reality. Everything in front of him was an illusion. Xiaodi was fine, smiling at him behind. But in Du Xianjun's eyes, it was a different scene. Liu Fengyi's current attacks were incomparable to before. Almost every punch carried a strong kai. Moreover, the speed was so fast that it was impossible to evade. Du Xianjun was forced to retreat step by step, momentarily losing the ability to defend himself. His body was blasted into the mountain wall. Xiaodi, however, Liao Fengyi didn't have the intention to continue the pursuit. All his thoughts were on Xiaodi. Rushing over, Liao Fengyi picked up Xiaodi. Covered in blood, Liao Fengyi's hands were trembling nonstop. He wanted to hold on, but there was a sense of powerlessness. "Don't be sad." At Liao Fengyi's call, Xiaodi slowly woke up. Seeing Liao Fengyi's tightly furrowed brows and pained expression, she gently comforted him. At this moment, the elderly Taoist also ran over. He wanted to console the two, but after opening his mouth for a while, he didn't know what to say. "What, Taoist, please take care of Xiaodi for me. I'm going to kill him." "Kill that bastard." Watching Xiaodi's life gradually slipping away, Liao Fengyi's heart was twisted like a knife. The raging anger naturally focused on Du Xianjun. At this moment, Du Xianjun stood up from the rubble. He understood that he couldn't delay any longer. Liao Fengyi had broken through another layer, and things were getting beyond his control. With a sinister smile, he summoned his weapon. He wouldn't allow anyone or anything to disrupt his grand plan. Those who stood in the way must all die. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 119. In the previous episode, we were discussing how Du Xianjun found that Liao Fengyi's breakthrough speed exceeded his imagination. His gaze turned cold, and his killing intent instantly surged. Go to hell. Du Xianjun, empty-handed, was already a destructive force, not to mention the extraordinary treasure in his hand. The sword, shining brightly, exuded a chilling aura, dazzling and intimidating. The sword, with a chilling aura, mercilessly slashed towards Liao Fengyi. The sharp sword key shot out like a thunderbolt on a clear day. Liao Fengyi knew the terror of this sword key and quickly lowered his head to dodge. The sword edge grazed over his head, causing Liao Fengyi's scalp to tingle. This move put him in a somewhat passive position. In a duel where the power gap was already significant, the situation now became even more unfavorable for Liao Fengyi. However, Liao Fengyi was burning with anger at this moment and didn't care about anything. Even if he had to risk his life, he was determined to kill Du Xianjun. So he roared loudly, and his fist, accompanied by the sound of the wind, once again struck Du Xianjun. Du Xianjun knew the power of this punch was formidable. Blocking with his horizontal sword, a loud noise rang out between the two. "Enough, bastard!" But Du Xianjun, with a favorable sword in hand, after blocking Liao Fengyi's attack, immediately swung the sword, forcing Liao Fengyi to retreat repeatedly. "Kid, accept your fate. None of you can escape." After this round, the gap widened even further. Probably, with just one more move, Liao Fengyi would be defeated under his sword. "Fengyi, the sword. We have won too." This angered the old Taoist on the side. What was he here for if not to help? Immediately realizing this, he took off the sword from his back, shouted, and threw it towards Liao Fengyi. As we mentioned before, the sword left by the old Taoist master is a divine weapon. For Liao Fengyi, it's truly a timely help. The ancient sword aura made Du Xianjun's face turn serious. "Go to hell, you bastard!" Liao Fengyi, originally filled with hot blood, was continuously suppressed by Du Xianjun. With the sword in his hand now, he couldn't remain calm. With a swing of the sword, Liao Fengyi and Du Xianjun clashed. Now, the strength on both sides was balanced, and the sound of swords colliding echoed on the battlefield. Both individuals are formidable in strength, and with those divine weapons, their confrontation is truly earth-shattering. However, let's be brutally honest, Liao Fengyi's strength is simply no match for Du Xianjun, especially when blood is surging. After a few rounds, he once again found himself in a losing situation. Everyone became anxious, especially Xiaobi, already on the verge of collapse. Seeing Liao Fengyi in a precarious situation made her spit out a mouthful of blood. As everyone knows, once weapons are involved, it's no longer a child's play. Each losing streak could lead to immediate death. Rest in peace. On the road to the underworld, you will have a companion. Du Xianjun coldly walked towards Liao Fengyi. The sword in his hand once again swept horizontally, and it seemed like Liao Fengyi was about to meet his end. But at this moment, a powerful force quickly shot towards Du Xianjun, forcing him to halt his actions. Du Xianjun didn't take this attack lightly and intercepted the force with a flip of his palm. However, just as he blocked this force, a figure sprang from behind and ruthlessly punched Du Xianjun in the back without hesitation. The attacker was Master Wan, the one who had lost all his internal energy and suffered severe internal injuries. Surprisingly, his punch caused Du Xianjun to show an expression of intense pain. To save Liao Fengyi, both Master Wan and Labui acted simultaneously. Despite Du Xianjun's formidable skills, their attacks failed to harm him. Instead, Du Xianjun gathered his internal energy and sent both attackers flying. Already heavily injured, Labui and Master Wan were dealt another blow, lying on the ground struggling but unable to get up. Since you're so eager to be reincarnated, I'll grant your wish. Watching these helpless people, a cruel and bloodthirsty smile appeared on Du Xianjun's face. Don't get too cocky, go to hell. But at this moment, a loud shout came from behind. Luo Sheng arrived in the nick of time, and a sword descended from the sky. As mentioned earlier, Luo Sheng is Du Xianjun's adopted son and Master Wan's disciple. His skills are undoubtedly impressive, and the power of this sword is terrifying. However, no matter how powerful the attack, its effectiveness depends on the opponent. In the face of Du Xianjun, such an attack still seemed insignificant. Killing your father is a heinous act, my son. In just one move, Luo Sheng was defeated. Killing my father was killed by you long ago. I will avenge the dead tribe. Intense anger propelled Luo Sheng to attack again. Although he was still not a match, he managed to hold his ground for a while. Fengyi Master, you've grown up. At this moment, Labui struggled to reach Liao Fengyi. It's time for your master to lift the seal on you. With his right hand extended flat, a force suddenly shot towards Liao Fengyi. Absorb that terrifying power. As the power approached Liao Fengyi, it split into 3 streams, hitting the 3 major acupoints on his throat and shoulders. Master this. Liao Fengyi didn't understand why his master did this, but soon he felt as if these 3 points had been opened up, and a warm flow from the dantian flowed through these acupoints to his entire body. Master, is that the upper 3 gods? The divine eye? Yes, although others may not understand, Master Wan's cultivation is extremely high, and he immediately saw the clues. As for Liao Fengyi, after the 3 acupoints were opened, a powerful force immediately filled his body. The strength was so strong that he almost couldn't control his own body. Just as he tried to stabilize his lower body with a horse stance, the ground beneath him shattered, and the powerful force burst out from under his feet. Leaving the shocked crowd on the cliff, let's turn our attention back to the cave below the rear mountain where the Liaodong 3 evils are. Third brother, are we not going to the underworld? Don't scare people. The 3 of us were sent by the Black Fox sect to explore the cave. We've been walking in this pitch-black cavern for most of the day, and the more we walk, the more scared we become. Just as they were thinking about giving up and turning back, they found that the path in front of them was blocked by a stone wall. It seemed like they had reached the end of the cave. Now the three of them were motivated. They thought there might be some treasures at the end of the cave, but after searching for a while, they found nothing. The Liaodong three evils suddenly felt a bit disheartened. Nonsense, we've wasted so much time for nothing. It seems the three of us are born with poor luck, after enduring countless hardships along the way. The three of them felt extremely disheartened as their efforts seemed to have been in vain. Although the third brother felt some unwillingness, he didn't complain much. Instead, he vented his frustration by punching the stone wall in front of him fiercely. "I'm not reconciled. We worked so hard, showed excellence. We thought we could return home in glory. But we ended up with nothing. We'll be mocked when we return home." But at this moment, a turning point appeared. Whether the stone was too brittle or the third brother had an innate strength, his punch unexpectedly shattered the stone wall in front of them. "I never expected I have innate strength." When the three looked at what was behind the broken wall, their eyes widened and their mouths opened as if they could fit a fist in. Behind the stone wall was a massive underground space. Although it lacked sunlight, it sparkled with brilliance, making it difficult for the three to open their eyes. The space was filled with gold and silver utensils, countless pearls, agate, gemstones, and luminous pearls. Could this be the treasure that the shaman was desperately searching for? The eyes of the Liaodong three evils lit up, challenging the notion that they were born with poor luck. After the initial shock, the three of them joyfully rushed towards the treasures with lively steps. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 120. We're going to get rich, just as we were talking. The three fools accidentally stumbled upon a stone cave and discovered that it actually hid treasures, mountains of gold, silver, and precious gems, dazzling to the point of causing eye pain. "Get married, marry the most beautiful one. I want to marry too. No, marry 6. With so much money, I want to marry 100. What have these three brothers endured hardships for? Isn't it for this unimaginable wealth?" At this moment, unable to restrain themselves, they rushed towards that pile of treasures like mad dogs. But before they could take a few steps, the ground suddenly softened under their feet, and a series of clanking mechanical sounds began. All three of them were experienced in the martial world. How could they not understand that they had triggered a mechanism? Oh no, there's a mechanism. Indeed, the ground beneath their feet suddenly collapsed, and even more frequent clanking sounds followed. The three initially thought that perhaps some poisoned crossbow arrows would be released, and frightened, they looked around. Just then, another loud bang sounded beside them, and a rock taller than a person came crashing down. Looking up, sharp and jagged rocks on the cave ceiling were breaking off and falling, creating a rain of rocks. This fracture was not just a piece or two. The densely packed stalactites on the cave ceiling were falling rapidly like dumplings. Although unwilling, one's life is the most important. Wait a moment, second brother, third brother, let's go back. Seeing that if they didn't retreat now, the three would be crushed into pulp, the eldest and second brother became anxious, but a loud roar from the third brother silenced them. "Seeking wealth and danger. Do you see what that is? That is what we've pursued all our lives," pointing to the enormous wealth just a dozen meters ahead that they could easily obtain. Retreating now would mean getting nothing. Can they really resign themselves to giving up like this? That is the happiness of our later years. Can we give up? No, we can't give up. Adventure and wealth naturally go hand in hand. The greed of the eldest and second brother was immediately stirred by the third brother, and the three of them, encouraged, wanted to rush over to claim the treasure. But at that moment, a small stone hit the third brother on the head. Oh my goodness, it hurts. It's so painful. The scene then shifts. The third brother, who was just determined to seek wealth in danger, turns around and runs, leaving behind all the gold and silver treasures. Run fast. If you don't run, you'll die. But this delay is not insignificant. The collapse of the entire cave is becoming more severe. Watching the densely falling stalactites, can these three escape with their lives? Meanwhile, on the cliff top, Liao Fengyi has had the three divine seals on his body broken by his master, and the Black Phoenix demon's inner core has unexpectedly been completely refined and subdued. You should know that the Black Phoenix demon is a figure who has stepped into the divine level, having cultivated for tens of thousands of years. The explosive power of this inner core, once melted, can be imagined. A powerful force bursts out from Liao Fengyi's body, and the stimulating sensation makes Du Xianjun feel a tingling sensation on his skin. Even Du Xianjun feels the immense pressure. What about others? Everyone is almost struggling to stand due to this powerful aura. Master, how could Fengyi have melted the inner core so quickly? Don't forget that I had him practice the fundamental techniques for a whole 10 years to refine his body. Master Wan seemed puzzled. For a cultivator, it's usually impossible to melt the inner core of a demon in just a few years or even decades, especially when it's the inner core of a demon god. And this inner core has been nurtured in his body for 10 years. It wasn't nurtured in vain. In fact, all of this was part of Lai Bai's design. The demon core in Liao Fengyi's body was nurtured for 10 years for this moment, and the effects of those 10 years are now evident. However, Liao Fengyi is not feeling well at the moment. He feels like there's a fire burning inside him. If one were to get closer, they would notice that every blood vessel in his body has swollen. The powerful and uncontrollable force keeps circulating inside him, making Liao Fengyi feel like every drop of blood in his body is boiling and pulsating. No matter how he suppresses it, that power seems ready to burst out of his body at any moment. Fortunately, his body is strong enough, surpassing the extreme danger of a human. Not only his body, but his core is also strong enough after 10 years of basic training, not troubled by the remaining demon energy in the Black Phoenix demon's inner core. Master, thank you. Liao Fengyi's consciousness also quickly recovers, and his entire demeanor undergoes a significant change from before. I finally understand your intentions. I am truly your disciple. Liao Fengyi is now well aware of the changes in his body, and finally understands the master's strict demands on his basic skills over the past 10 years. He used to think that the master's teachings to Du Qianjun were the focus, but now he suddenly understands everything. A genuine disciple expresses gratitude for the master's careful teachings, simultaneously stimulating another person. Seeing the change in Liao Fengyi before him, Du Qianjun's expression becomes even more solemn. Kid, you're overdoing it, still dreaming of a crow turning into a phoenix. Crows can indeed turn into phoenixes. His gaze turns cold, and a sarcastic remark slips out, but he doesn't realize that, to Liao Fengyi, his mockery is an exposition of facts, because the true form of the Black Phoenix demon is a crow, which cultivated for thousands of years to become a phoenix. But some things will forever transform into true dragons. Arrogant, you understand nothing. Our divine dragon sect is the teaching of dragon revival. Du Xianjun, seeing the rookie who had been beneath his feet uttering such arrogant words, disdainfully tilted his head back and burst into laughter. It will, but just as the laughter began, he suddenly realized that the rookie in front of him had disappeared, and his laughter froze on his face. Of course, people don't just vanish into thin air. Before Du Qianjun could react, he felt a sudden intense pain in his back. Liao Fengyi, at some point, had circled behind him. The techniques remained simple, but the power and speed were no longer comparable to before. Du Xianjun, struck by this move, hadn't even landed when he found Liao Fengyi rushing to him again, followed by another burst of punches. Du Xianjun couldn't figure out what had happened, why Liao Fengyi's transformation was so earth-shattering. The rookie, like possessed by a god of death, moved so quickly that it was almost supernatural. Those seemingly clumsy punches were now impossible to dodge. Question marks arose in Du Xianjun's mind, but there was no one to answer him. Moreover, Liao Fengyi's palm came down fiercely again. This palm, usually not even enough to scratch an itch, now, when it landed, Du Xianjun felt like his entire body was about to be shattered. The cliff beneath his feet also vibrated. Du Xianjun barely withstood the impact with almost all his strength, but the mental shock was not so easily endured. Bastard, you really think a clown can turn the tide? Go to hell, determined to kill this bastard as quickly as possible, at any cost. Du Xianjun's face twisted into a fierce expression as he launched an attack at Liao Fengyi. However, the Liao Fengyi before him disappeared once again. I know you're here. Disappeared. Then he must be behind. This time, Du Xianjun struck first. Go to hell. A powerful force surged towards his back, but when he turned around, he found that Liao Fengyi was not behind him at all. In front of the master, we are all clowns. His attack slammed into the rock wall, and at that moment, Liao Fengyi's voice echoed behind it. Bastard, I am not. Really, how is this possible? Previously, it was one's own negligence, but now one has pushed all abilities to the limit. How could it be possible not to keep up with his speed? The sound coming from behind was driving Du Xianjun gradually insane. Do you think you've surpassed the master? I have surpassed him. No one is my match. I am invincible. Compared to the master, in just a few seconds of madness, Du Xianjun directed all his strength in all directions. However, Liao Fengyi's voice continued to appear behind him. You're not worthy. And this time, Liao Fengyi showed no mercy. A punch directly slammed into Du Xianjun's face. This punch actually sent Du Xianjun flying more than 10 meters away, crashing heavily into the cliff wall as if an explosive had gone off. But when the dust settled, Du Xianjun's figure was nowhere to be seen. He finally figured it out. Since being passive on the ground, why not jump into the air, widen the field of vision, and that clumsy rookie bird would have nowhere to escape. Bastard, I won't spare you. Jumping high will only make the fall more brutal, but can this really turn the tide? The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 121. Today, we still need to talk about the treasure in that hidden cave. Some may ask, how did the treasure that the dragon shaman has been peering at for so long suddenly appear so easily? This is also fate. No one expected that the stone cave opened by the cracking earth would connect to the treasure. It was stumbled upon by the three fools who came to explore the cave. This must be fate too. But sometimes it is destined to be. And if wealth is not in one's fate, one should not force it. However, just a glimpse of the astonishing treasure, and the collapse of the cave almost took the lives of these three brothers. The only path leading to the treasure behind, that stone bridge, was also destroyed in this collapse. It seems that it is destined that no one will obtain this earth-shattering wealth. The collapse of the entire underground palace is getting worse, with fragments continuously falling. It is no longer something that human effort can reverse. In no time, the entire stone cave collapsed entirely. Later, it caused a chain reaction. More than half of the mountain collapsed, shaking the earth continuously. The collapse caused the ground to sink into a large pit. Whether the three fools are alive and have run out, or have already lost their lives underground is unknown. Furthermore, not far away, on the cliffs of the tripolar ridge, you can see rising dust from afar, accompanied by a tremendous sound. Your treasure is gone. At this moment, Liu Fengyi has leisure time, and while fighting, notices the changes not far away. It's all because of you damn bastards. Upon hearing Liu Fengyi's words, Du Xianjun hurriedly turned his head to look, instantly infuriated. If it weren't for these people causing trouble, he would have already taken the treasure as military funds and led tens of thousands of followers to cooperate with the nomadic army in attacking the Central Plains. Those who hinder my achievement of dominance should all die. Establishing dominance on the vast land of the Central Plains was his lifelong pursuit, but now it has all been destroyed. Du Xianjun is now nearing madness. In midair, he suddenly throws a punch, but no energy is released. Instead, a strange object appears in the palm of his hand. All of you die. Only after that thing completely emerges do they realize that it is an indescribable monster. After this monster emerged from Du Xianjun's palm, it carried a powerful demonic energy and fiercely pounced towards Liu Fengyi. However, how could a demonic creature appear within a human body? I know you've turned demonic. I've been waiting for you to reveal yourself. After refining the core of the Black Phoenix demon, Liu Fengyi naturally activated his Phoenix Eye. He finally understood why Du Xianjun was more formidable than his master. It was because he had long delved into the dark path. Let's talk a bit more here. Du Xianjun has immense ambitions. Even during his apprenticeship with Master Lebui, he was eager for quick success and instant benefits. Under a fortuitous circumstance, he obtained a demonic art for transformation, secretly practicing to become stronger. After decades, he went to extremes and indeed developed the power of transformation. But in the face of his demonic form, Liu Fengyi remained unruffled. Keep in mind that the art of suppressing demons is abundant in the Mashan sect. It is their specialty. With a few hand gestures, a Tian Gang demon suppression formation was formed. With Liu Fengyi's current cultivation, deploying this demon-suppressing grand formation was significantly more imposing and powerful than before. Since Du Xianjun has revealed his demonic form, he can no longer escape within this grand formation. He is firmly trapped within. Suddenly, several bolts of heavenly thunder and earthly fire simultaneously struck, all hitting Du Xianjun. In an instant, his demonic form was shattered. With the destruction of his demonic form, Du Xianjun naturally couldn't endure it, and he was also seriously injured by the heavenly thunder. As the saying goes, everyone has their own path. How could one successfully escape to the heavens? Du Xianjun exhausted all his strategies, made all things hopeless, and in the end, he met a fate where all endeavors came to naught. This left Du Xianjun bitterly resentful. The foolish person he had just trampled underfoot, how did they suddenly stand before him as the victor? Why, his life had once been splendid. Gifted from a young age, he was noticed by the master of Mashan, Lebui. After receiving careful instruction in martial arts, he became the leading figure of Mashan in just a few years. You were clearly a foolish person. Why, later he betrayed the sect, cultivated divine skills, grew increasingly powerful, defeated countless martial arts experts, and could even surpass his master. Although he suffered from brotherly betrayal and lover's treachery, he could see that the world was about to be his. Do you still remember what our master used to say the most? But why did everything collapse in the hands of his foolish disciple? Walk the righteous path. He just couldn't understand. Facing this person who betrayed the sect, hands stained with blood, Liu Fengyi showed no mercy. A talisman was quickly summoned, directly hitting the head of Du Xianjun, who had turned himself into a demonic creature. The drawing of Mashan talismans is the same, but the way they are employed varies. However, the person invoking the talisman is crucial. A seemingly ordinary talisman, when invoked, immediately dispersed the demonic aura enveloping Du Xianjun. With the dissipation of the demonic aura, the person turned into a lifeless shell. Liao Fengyi couldn't comprehend it. Under the guidance of his master, he held no bias against foxes and ghosts, but he believed in being human. "You are the foolish one. How could Du Xianjun, before him, devote so much effort to transform himself into a demonic creature? In pursuit of power, he truly embarked on a path of unrelenting obsession. Yet, the world is not lacking such individuals. For the sake of change, they lose themselves. Du Xianjun is not the only one. Du Xianjun is dead, and his body quickly withers, but numerous scales unexpectedly grow. It seems his demonic transformation has reached completion. After a while, it turned into a piece of charred wood. This demon has finally perished, bringing relief to everyone's hearts. For his ambitions, he committed countless misdeeds. Helpless, the master watched as his elder brother became increasingly ruthless, enduring the torment of inner demons every day. With Du Xianjun's death, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. His heavily injured body could no longer hold up, and after falling, he closed his eyes and stopped breathing. "Excellent, kid. Well done. A person relies on a breath of life. Once this breath is released, that person is like an extinguished lamp." We are talking about Xiaodi. Given the extent of her injuries, she shouldn't have been able to survive. However, because of concern for Liao Fengyi, she kept holding on to her last breath. Now, seeing Liao Fengyi become so strong, her heart finally let go. "Xiaodi!" A shout from Broken Dao suddenly alarmed Liao Fengyi. In fact, he also knew the severity of Xiaodi's injuries. He just didn't want this moment to come after all. "Xiaodi!" Meanwhile, by the lake, the black fox was shaken down from the sky by a powerful force. It turned out that within the tornado in the sky, the nine-headed dragon and the desert northern demon dragon were engaged in a fierce battle. Unable to endure any longer, the black fox wanted to rush up to help. However, after several attempts, he failed to break into the tornado, and frustration arose in his heart. With a swing of the spirit fox sword, he once again charged forward. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 122. The continuation from the previous episode, we were discussing the black fox rushing to the giant tornado again. This time, he went all out, using his blood to sacrifice the spirit fox sword. With a fierce swing, he forcefully split the tornado, then swiftly drilled into it. "Hold on!" Suddenly, his ankles tightened, and his shoulders sank. It turned out the nine-headed dragon helped stabilize him. The black fox now understood that the nine-headed dragon's ability to control his body within the tornado was far superior to his. "Get out of here. You can't help here. Cut the crap. Don't underestimate me." This made the proud black fox somewhat unhappy. Originally, he and the nine-headed dragon could have been evenly matched. Now, he sounded like he was here to cause trouble. "Watch me." The angrier the black fox got, the more he ignored the nine-headed dragon. Controlling his body, he swung the spirit fox sword and pounced on the desert northern demon dragon. Junior, seeking death. Obviously, the desert northern demon dragon didn't care much about the black fox's attack. With a sway of its hands, a stronger gust of wind protected its front, and its entire body merged into the powerful wind. The black fox didn't care about that. After a loud shout, the spirit fox sword was directed at the forehead of the desert northern demon dragon and slashed down. This strike was fast and fierce. The desert northern demon dragon had no chance to defend itself. Its body was instantly split in half. But the black fox knew in his heart that it couldn't be so simple to end it. Otherwise, why would the nine-headed dragon be working so hard? Indeed, a dangerous aura came from behind. The shattered desert northern demon dragon disappeared from sight, but suddenly there was a sound of sharp weapons cutting through the air behind. Dark objects, aided by the cyclone, came swiftly. The black fox couldn't evade them at all, and soon his body was covered in injuries. A lightning bolt flashed through the black fox's mind. Right, Liu Fengyi had mentioned that the desert northern demon dragon was composed of countless small insects. When dispersed, each tiny insect could launch individual attacks, making them invisible assassins. Seeing dozens of blue lights approaching, if they attacked, the black fox wouldn't survive no matter how many lives he had. However, to his surprise, his body suddenly disappeared. With the black fox's disappearance, the desert northern demon dragon revealed its form again. Where was the black fox? At the critical moment, he had been saved by the nine-headed dragon. However, the desert northern demon dragon's attack didn't stop. With a wave of its hands, countless blue lights shot out like a drizzle. Moreover, due to the dragon's body spinning faster and stirring up the wind, the raindrops, like locusts, became even more fierce and speedy. Soon, it tightly surrounded the two. In this small cyclone, the two had no place to hide. This was tough for both. The tornado suddenly shrank, trapping the two tightly. With the wind pillar, the attacks of the locust-like insects followed the wind, instantly causing the two to be in a sorry state. Blood wounds kept increasing, and in the blink of an eye, both were covered in blood. The black fox was even worse off. His body's toughness couldn't compare to the nine-headed dragon's. Soon, he couldn't hold on. Just as the black fox was about to stumble and fall, a big hand suddenly pressed on his shoulder. Then the black fox's body was quickly thrown to the back by the nine-headed dragon. "You fellow, step back. I have a way to deal with him." The black fox understood that the nine-headed dragon wanted to protect him, but facing this terrifying thing, did he really have a way? If it were that simple, he wouldn't have fought so hard. Nine-headed dragon. Wait, the black fox suddenly realized. "Brother, take care. Bastard, you smelly brat, I won't spare you." As expected, his bad premonition came true. This jerk, the nine-headed dragon, threw him out of the wind pillar. After landing, the black fox didn't want to go and help again. He knew that going in again would only burden the nine-headed dragon. "Hey buddy, are you guys okay?" Before the black fox could get up from the ground, he noticed several figures running towards him. Why isn't it over up there? It turned out that Liu Fengyi and the old Taoist had finished the battle on that side and rushed over. "You guys, how did this happen?" The black fox's gaze was first attracted by Xiaodi, who was in Liu Fengyi's arms. He could feel that Xiaodi was already dead. The black fox's words made a dark shadow appear in Liu Fengyi's eyes. Just at that moment, a loud noise came from above. The three looked up and saw 9 dragon heads appearing in the giant tornado. Obviously, the 9-headed dragon once again mobilized its true body to launch an attack. However, after a deafening explosion, the dragon heads of the 9-headed dragon were suddenly blown away. Successively, 8 dragon heads fell to the ground and quickly lost vitality. This cruel scene frightened the three. They hurriedly looked up again. At this time, the 9-headed dragon only had 1 head left. However, the explosion just now clearly had an effect. Under the blasting, the wind pillar was dispersed, and the destructive power it had before was no longer there. Giving up, with the wind pillar dissipating, the figures of the desert northern demon dragon and the 9-headed dragon appeared in the sky again. still confronting each other. Humph, even with just one head, it's enough to destroy you. Liao Fengyi couldn't bear to watch anymore. He handed Xiaodi's body to the old Taoist, then took the ancient sword from the old Taoist's hands. "What are you doing? Go up and help." The black fox knew how powerful that demon dragon was. If he went up, not only would he not help the nine-headed dragon, but he would also cause trouble. "He's very strong, Then be careful." But he also noticed that Liao Fengyi was very different from before. He had indeed improved a lot, so the dissuasion was swallowed back. Perhaps he was stronger than himself and could really help the nine-headed dragon. "Your time has come." Furthermore, Liao Fengyi swung the ancient sword, roared, and rushed over. Without any fancy moves, Liao Fengyi's sword, in midair, fiercely slashed towards the desert northern demon dragon. Given Liao Fengyi's current strength, the power of this strike was beyond words. The main body and demon body of that demon dragon were all cleanly cut in half. Liao Fengyi naturally knew that this was useless. He was about to lift his sword and chop again, but he was stopped. "It's useless. Go back, respect me, and leave this place to me." The one who stopped him was the nine-headed dragon. "I told you, I have a way to deal with him." The nine-headed dragon was right. With ordinary strength, it was impossible to deal with the desert northern demon dragon. Those demon insects as small as dust were not something a sword could easily cut. "He is my clan's exterminator. Believe me." Liao Fengyi was left speechless by the nine-headed dragon's words. "He seems very confident, helpless." Liao Fengyi had to retreat to the ground. "Now that guy only has one head left. Can he make it? I'm worried." At this point, they could only watch and wait. "Kid, with 8 heads gone, it seems you are prepared to die, not to mention the dragon and the demon in the air. Wiping out my entire clan. Do you really think there won't be retribution?" Although the nine-headed dragon only had one head left, its momentum seemed even more fierce than before. With a loud roar, it charged towards the desert northern demon dragon. "Your time of death has come." The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 123. Final episode. After the nine-headed serpent destroyed the other 8 heads, only the remaining one viciously lunged again at the desolate North Demon Dragon. The desolate North Demon Dragon also realized that the nine-headed serpent's attack this time was a desperate gamble, and its momentum was fierce. It seemed difficult to withstand the attack. "Demon Dragon, prepare to die." Indeed, the demonic dragon formed by his billions of small insects couldn't withstand the fierce blow from the nine-headed serpent. In an instant, the demonic dragon's form dispersed like mist. Most of the scattered demonic insects were likely swallowed by the main head of the nine-headed serpent. "He ate that big bug. He's committing suicide. He doesn't have the ability to devour that demonic dragon. This is bad, because the main body of the demonic insects is lost. The remaining insects can no longer condense into a giant dragon." However, Liao Fengyi and the Black Fox realized that things were not so simple. Indeed, after swallowing the demonic insects, the nine-headed serpent's main body remained motionless in midair for a long time. Its body alternated between red and blue, clearly struggling against the demonic insects inside. "Kid, you're so arrogant. Want to devour me? Do you have the ability?" Moreover, inside the body of the nine-headed serpent, the ancestral insect of the desolate North Demon Dragon is going berserk. "With your limited skills, are you qualified?" Indeed, this demonic insect cultivated into a dragon from a tiny grain-sized bug, but it had cultivated for thousands of years. It was not something the nine-headed serpent could easily restrain. "Old bug, do you know where this is?" "This is the divine elemental world. I cultivated specifically to destroy you. However, how could the nine-headed serpent not know this? For revenge, he had prepared for thousands of years, and the space trapping the demonic dragon was precisely created through his divine elemental cultivation. Divine elemental. In this way, you will also die. Divine elemental is the most core element of life. The divine elemental world cultivated for thousands of years can trap everything in the world. The demonic insect will be forever trapped here. From the moment of preparing for revenge, I never intended to live. This means that from the beginning, when the nine-headed serpent left the ruins of the divine race and embarked on the path of revenge, he was prepared for a life and death situation. No wonder he always maintained a gloomy character. Bastard, how could the desolate North Demon Dragon be willing? At this moment, he was furious. His only hope was to quickly kill the nine-headed serpent, and it had to be done in this divine elemental world so that he could escape. Then I'll kill you first. But this divine elemental world was cultivated by the nine-headed serpent, so he could come and go freely. The desolate North Demon Dragon finally understood that he didn't even have a chance to kill the nine-headed serpent here. He was suddenly alarmed. If the nine-headed serpent committed suicide in his divine elemental world, then he would also disappear along with this divine elemental world, forever. His analysis was correct. Everything had already begun. His face became extremely terrified. A loud explosion resounded, destroying everything. The main body of the nine-headed serpent self-destructed and perished, and along with it disappeared his divine elemental world and the desolate North Demon Dragon inside it. Bastard, did you come here just to commit suicide? Thank you. Of course, with the death of the main body, his celestial body was about to dissipate as well. My vengeance is finally avenged. I can be considered worthy of my ancestors. The nine-headed serpent was born with 9 heads, arguably the most talented in the desolate North Divine Clan. If all the clan members were present, he would undoubtedly be the leader of the clan. If there is a next life, let's continue as brothers. But he lived his entire life in loneliness. At this moment, with his great vengeance avenged, he had no regrets. Nine-headed serpent, you bastard, however. In the eyes of others, the nine-headed serpent's personality was too stubborn. Couldn't he discuss matters with everyone instead of resorting to such extreme methods? Bastard, although the black fox was cursing loudly, he quickly ran over, wanting to collect the nine-headed serpent's remains, hoping to preserve his divine elemental and leave him a glimmer of hope. Look, but at this moment, the 8 severed heads of the nine-headed serpent lying on the ground suddenly flew into the air. They were drawn by a force into midair, and a spatial crack appeared in the sky. A figure appeared in the midst of the spatial crack. After the 8 heads were sucked into the crack, a strange red light flashed in the eyes of the figure in the crack. Before a few people could react, the spatial crack quickly disappeared. "Who are you?" The black fox's inquiry received no answer. The vanished crack left no trace whatsoever. A gust of mountain wind blew by, and the desolate North 3 pinnacles, which had just been like a purgatory on earth, now fell into a deathly silence. If it weren't for the scattered rubble and uprooted trees, no one would imagine that a earth-shattering battle had taken place here over the past dozen days. At this moment, everything returned to calm. Liao Fengyi chose a sunlit hillside covered with wildflowers to bury Xiaodi. A relationship came and ended in such a cruel way. Although brief, this emotion was firmly engraved in Liao Fengyi's heart. Liao Fengyi, along with the black fox, the 3-headed mastiff, and Ahuo, returned to Changbai Mountain. The two wanted to carefully study the contract and cultivation experience left by Jiang Rong and the white fox in the ancient cave. The broken old Taoist returned to Iron Bull Monastery once again, leading a carefree life. Occasionally, Liao Fengyi would visit him. Despite growing older, he still hadn't taken a proper form, but Liao Fengyi understood that the old Taoist was the one living the most enlightened life. To achieve immortality, one must attain the Tao, and he was undoubtedly such a person. When he ventured out again, Liao Fengyi established the Immortal Family Mountain faction, becoming a mysterious and formidable sect in the martial world. No swords allowed. Furthermore, Lai Bui brought the exceptionally talented Luoxing back to Maoshan, initiating rigorous training reminiscent of hell. Why didn't you say earlier? 5 years later, after Lai Bui transcended, Luoxing came to Changbai Mountain and continued to study under Liao Fengyi. Of course, Luoxing also became the most outstanding successor in the history of the Immortal Family Mountain. The reputation of the Immortal Family Mountain began from this point. In an ordinary little mountain village in northern Liaoning, San She was sweating profusely in the blacksmith's shop. "Elder brothers, my hoe is broken." Perhaps because the illusions of wealth and prosperity shattered one after another, these three fellows saw through life. In the end, they chose to return to the mountains and live as ordinary people. "Everyone says your craftsmanship is excellent. Could you help out this unfortunate widow?" "A trivial matter. We brothers love to help others, respect the elderly, and care for the young. Although life is peaceful, the tendency of these three brothers to get carried away with praise remains unchanged." "Thank you so much. I knew you were the most enthusiastic people. Leave it to us tonight. We'll escort you home. Is there anything else to do at home? We're willing to help." "Brat, are you up to some mischief again? If it weren't for my dad's money, you would have starved to death long ago. Our sisters are as beautiful as flowers, and you dare to have wandering eyes." "Madam, spare us. We won't dare again, madam. Don't be angry. Tonight, I'll give madam a back massage. How can that ugly monster compare to madam's beauty?" The legend of the Master's mysteries comes to a close here. With sorrow or joy, everyone has found their place. But the story of the Master's mysteries will continue. Liao Fengyi generation will have many outstanding and thrilling adventure stories.